Welcome, folks. Hello to the final game of today, technically day 2, because there was a big battle royale that one of our very great players, Promethean, took part in. Was it just yourself? Did anyone else take part? Either it's at the group with us take part. Did you take part as well? Did you know?
I was a referee.
You were a referee.
So very helpful with
things fair and crunchy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of day 2, technically, of the D8DungeonDrive this year. So, and my God, the total. Even before the stream started this morning, just unbelievably huge thanks to everyone that's taken the time to donate, check out the streams, all that type of stuff. We're going to kick straight into this, okay? We're going to go through a few housekeeping pieces that I have to read through as the GM. So, I am Wayne. Some of you may know me from the D&D stream or D&D YouTube channel for the Irish Pubcast for Sorcery and Shenanigans. I'm the Dungeon Master over there. You can find me at my usual socials on Twitter at Wayne Talbot on Twitter or Wayne Talbot 37 on Instagram. And you can find me at the Irish Pubcast anywhere the Irish Pubcast is, be it on podcasts, YouTube, so on and so forth. I'm currently working on our second campaign that you will see with fellow Dungeon Master and player Ben Clifford, who is part of the group that did the X-Men game this morning. He's also part of our crew at the moment, so you'll check us there. So I'm going to hand it over to our players, and they can introduce themselves and tell you all about their socials and what they're involved in. So we will start, ladies first. We're going to start with Lou.
Hi, so forgive me this evening if my voice goes on me, but here for a good cause. So I'm Lou. I'm a member of D8 Dungeon. You can mostly find me playing Fia on Romancing the Dungeon. I'm not really around too much on socials, but if you haunt me out, I'll be there somewhere. Definitely a lot more active in our Discord than I would be on social. So if you're interested in checking out our fun little corner of the internet, if you haven't joined, it would be worth it, 100%.
Next up, then, we have Dahi.
Hi, I'm Dahi. I'm a regular here on D8 Dungeon. I play Deceit on our little game called Random DMs. I was also here yesterday, and I'm going to be here tomorrow, so you'll be really sick of me by the end of this.
Never.
I am found on Twitter over on I'm Rose Frog of Beauty in chat there. You can find my username in chat. And yeah, I am a graphic designer. I'm a motion graphic designer. I actually designed this lovely background that you see going on, and I designed the logo of the channel, as well as a couple of other bits and pieces to do with D8 Dungeon. One specific piece you should really keep an eye out for when the new season of Romancing the Dungeon comes out in the next month or so. But yeah, that's me.
And certainly, last but not least, Promethean.
100% least. Hi, I'm Promethean. There's a 0 in it. I am a prolifically casual player of games, mostly here on Twitch. A bunch of the time, those games have dice in them, and I will roll dice quite often with Meeples and Dragons, It's Fate's Grip, and The Law Rights predominantly, as well as just turning up when invited to fun, cool charity things like this. Let's raise some heckin' charity money. Yes.
Yeah, let's smash whatever whatever the next kind of target is, because like people have been amazing, and you've been like breaking down targets as the whole day has gone on. So fair play to you. Just to remind you exactly what the charity is. So we are raising money throughout this entire weekend for the PCRF, the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And for 25 years, the PCRF has helped children in the Middle East by leading medical missions into the Middle East, arranging for children to receive medical care through treatment abroad, and sponsoring humanitarian programs. PCRF runs a wide range of ongoing programs and one-time projects to address any humanitarian needs that they see, brought on by poverty, war, occupation, and siege. The PCRF envisions a world where children in the Middle East have access to quality medical care, humanitarian aid, and specialized surgical procedures. Pretty much any damn legitimate right that every child in the world should fucking have, and the PCRF make sure that these children have it. We're living in a pretty shitty time at the moment for a lot of people, and the whole point of this weekend is to make a dent and hopefully help some people. So thank you so much to everyone that's donated so far. Please, there are giveaways for you as viewers. There are prizes, particularly for the latter half of the evening, with specific prizes. I'm just going to read these out real quick. So you can enter in the chat, and please, somebody help me out with this. I am looking at my notes here, but there is a particular way of entering in with the chat in the chat. Dahi or Lou or Promethean, if you know how they actually do that, please chime in and let us know this. But how you actually win or enter into these raffles, you could win 2 digital full sets of David Green's Empire of Rune fantasy series. David Green is a neurodivergent writer of the epic and urban, of the epic and the urban, the fantastical, the cozy, and the mysterious. And it's a character-driven dark fantasy series of Empire of Rune. And it sounds amazing. You can also win D&D Pride stickers, class stickers, a DM sticker, and a keychain from Cyborg Cinders. Cyborg Cinders is a digital artist that specializes in fan art and character design. Definitely check them out on their website. I'm sure the information is available if you just either pop it in, somebody throw it in the chat there, or you can find them just by Googling Cyborg Cinders. There's also 3 bundles of art, D&D stickers, character sheets, and dice bags from Wonderful. Wonderful is an animation graduate who's trying to make their art into a proper career, so check out their Instagram and website to support them. There's also 2 digital RPG sets from Green Ronin, Dragon Age RPG kit, and the Blue Rose RPG kit. Green Ronin Publishing is an American company based in Seattle, Washington. They have published several role-playing games-related products and have won several awards for their games, so definitely check out their website. So they are the prizes that are available to everyone in the chat. You just need to put in your details and you are in with a chance to win. So please do. So without further ado, that is all of the housekeeping out of the way. We are now going to jump straight into this. So we are playing a game of Daggerheart from Darrington Press / Critical Role. This game isn't even out yet. It's still in beta. So me being the GM that I am, I'm going to take full advantage of that, and the rules are probably going to mean a damn thing. We're just going to have fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves, and we will obviously use the system because we are using, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but on Demiplane, they have a full digital tool, very much similar to other digital tools that other big name TTRPGs have. But Demiplane have a specific one built for Daggerheart, and we've been pouring our love over it for the last couple of nights when we were looking at our session 0. It's a beautiful setup, and it really helps you get into the game and get into the feel of the game. Daggerheart, for anyone who doesn't know, is very much a cooperative play TTRPG. It's not just the GM telling a story and the players just happen to be there rolling dice. It is a fully immersive cooperative piece where the players and the GM work together to create a world from scratch, create cards from scratch, and from that comes the world that they're about to play in. And the world we're about to jump into is the land of Jas. There is beauty in all things. Rose, a member of the royal family living in the Crystal Pavilion, has made a life quest to eventually find their way into the Garden of Beauty, the supposed promised land of their people. Celesta has heard tales upon the sea of a far-off place filled with untold riches, with treasure and fortune beyond their wildest dreams, where they hope to find the scattered remnants of their broken memories. Cortinellus looks upon all things that has been part of the eventual circle of death and rebirth. And these trio of adventurers find themselves now in this land of Jas, a place of wonder and mystery. The group have been traveling together now for the best part of a year. Rose has struck out into the world with their new compatriot, Celesta, following an awakening of sorts. Upon meeting Celesta for the first time and seeing the beauty and decay of the natural world that imbued upon the creature of steel and chrome, how can the idea that beauty lies within all things, if you have not given yourself the chance to see the outside of the walls of the very city that you've called home for so long? Not too long into their travels, as they have left the city of the Crystal Pavilion, the duo stumble upon a remnant of what was once a vast battleground, a field littered with bodies of the fallen. And that is where they meet Cortinellus, who is methodically going around from corpse to corpse, giving each of them his blessing, but not as a harbinger of death, but as a bringer of new life. As Cortinellus touches each body, growths of funguses and plant life emerged, and soon the battlefield is covered in a dazzling array of color, as new life bursts forth from the decay that the vicious battle has left behind. Cortinellus agrees to join them on their travels, and the duo becomes a trio. They continue their travel throughout the land together, each with their own personal goal, but helping the others in their own special way. They take work where they can find it, dealing with everything from bounty hunting to helping the needy. They soon garner a name for themselves in the southern region of the land of Jas. The trio sometimes being sought out specifically. Sometimes they would receive correspondence if they stayed in a particular place for a long period of time. The locals beginning to trust them and giving over jobs and, quests. Sometimes letters arrive. And these letters always start with the same thing. Help. Adventurers wanted. In a small town of Miller's Rest, the three adventurers are recuperating after their latest outing. They have aided the locals in fending off a small group of sea devils who have emerged into this small seaside town and have attempted to steal their seasonal crop harvest. They are relaxing on the porch area of a local tavern/tea room as the mid-morning sun scatters its beam of light through a slightly overcast sky. They spot off in the distance a short figure rushing towards them from a northern path into the town square. It is a worker that you kind of recognize. You believe his name is Gretch Umberhold, a worker from the local port north of here called Swabby's Dock. Gretch runs into the main square, looks around frantically, makes a quick scan of the area, looks at the local vendors setting up their stalls in the mid-morning sun, fruit stalls, food, some of them selling magical items, so on and so forth, but doesn't see what he's looking for until his eyes scan across to where the tea rooms are, and he sees the trio sitting on the deck. Rushing over to them as fast as he can, his dwarven legs pumping quickly, he stops short of the tavern porch, doubled over, out of breath, trying to form a sentence through the gasps of breath. Accident. Swabby's Dock. 6 dead. Well, they're well dead. Now not dead, but not alive. Look, we need your help.
Well, who are we to say no? Please, get inside and rest yourself on this beautiful morning. We'll take care of this.
You're gonna go and take. Well, I kind of and Gretch is kind of. He seems to be very kind of confused, and the situation seems to have very much perturbed him in some way. I think I might need to show you what the problem is. There was an accident, and it's kind of hard to explain. Are you okay? Do you want to go now, or do you need to ready yourselves or anything, or you're all right to come with me? No?
Well, I'm always ready to defend the people, but compatriots, are we good to go?
You see Celista just quietly stand up, and you hear the creaking of her joints as she reaches down for her battle axe and swings it onto her shoulder. Why not?
Corton Ellis will probably scratch his little mushroom head. A few little spores will shake out from underneath it. I was born ready. Let's go.
So Gretch kind of like, or gathers himself, catches his breath a bit, and kind of starts to move off, looking back expectantly as the rest of you kind of gather yourselves and start to follow him. As you walk at a brisk pace, can each of you in turn give us a description of your character? We'll start with Promethean. Give us a Corton Ellis. Give us a description of your high-pitched voiced fungal character.
Excellent. So Corton Ellis is in fact a fungal, a mushroom person. So it's kind of thin and wiry, quite short, and just has a kind of very naturally colored clothing and kind of ash-colored skin, but thin and wiry. You can sort of see there's musculature there, which belies the general softness of their overall look.
And how tall would Corton Ellis be?
Not particularly tall. I would say definitely smaller than our large robotic friend, and just a wee little bit bigger than our frog friend.
Excellent. So, speaking of our robotic friend, Lou, give us a description of Celista.
So you see this blue clank stand up to her full height of 6'8", and you can see under the jacket that she's wearing, her body is adorned with this amber filigree, and she's got these glowing amber eyes. But then you also notice a lot of wear and tear from being at sea along like her jawline, the tops of her brows, her knuckles, and kind of any other joint you see where it's gone. That copper green from rust and from the sea air. And she's wearing this old sailor's coat that looks quite tattered, but she seems to take quite good care of it as best as she can, where there's been a lot of little repairs done to it to keep it in some sort of decent condition. And she looks down at this dwarf and her two other friends, waiting for them to take the lead.
And obviously, more than likely, jumping out in the lead, we have Rose.
Rose is a little frog person, is a ribbit. He is a he stands at a statuesque 2'5", which is very tall by frog standards. He is wearing full, beautiful, adorned heavy plate armor that's adorned in motifs of stained glass and gorgeous filigreed gold. The actual plate itself is silvered. He carries a huge tower shield about the same height as himself and a halberd in his other hand. A beautiful red wood halberd with gold and silver blade and a little standard banner that comes off of it. He is a plush deep velvet red frog with big, bright green, blue eyes and a lovely pink, kind of sakura pink underbelly that you don't see much of because his armor kind of comes up quite high, and he stands as tall as he possibly can, even when he's being picked up by Celista. He is absolutely in the lead, ready to defend the people against evil at all costs.
So you're leading the way behind Gretch, as Gretch is kind of like now fully aware that you're following him. He kind of picks up the pace a bit and urges you along. And where you're heading, so from Miller's Rest, if we could get the map up there just to really quickly, just to show anyone that's watching, the viewers, just to give them an idea of where we are in this space. So Miller's Rest is in the south, kind of mid to south east of the map, and we're heading towards Swabby's Dock. So you'll see where it says there on the map, folks. You'll see the Land of Jas. Tempest Wood is smack bang in the middle, and just southeast of that we have Miller's Rest. And then kind of northeast of that, then we have Swabby's Dock, which is about a 20-minute, 30-minute walk from there. And you're heading up in that direction. You are accustomed to this area now. You know it a bit better. You've been here a while, and you've helped the locals with a lot of individual issues, problems, general stuff as well. Helped keep the law. And again, also just to give people an idea of Daggerheart as well. This is a map that comes with the game. So the way Daggerheart works is when you're building the world, you're giving a blank map that you can fill out with the players. They choose where they're from. They choose the place where they live. They choose kind of sections of the world. And then it's up to the GM to then fill out the gaps. And you can see at the bottom, if you can make it out there, it's quite small. They do give you kind of suggested names for places, which I completely ignored and didn't realize was there until I've already named all the towns anyway. So we just went with them. So you're heading northeast now towards Swabby's Dock, which is the local port where a lot of the exports go, as well as the main port of Miller's Rest. A lot of it goes north to this because there's a couple of different cities that surround the area. We have a northern city that a lot of the Miller's exports go to, like grain, produce, so on and so forth, because Miller's Rest is very much a farming town. And sleepy enough into the late evening, but during the early morning into the day, it's busy, a lot of farmsteads around, and the main town itself exports all of its produce northwards and also westwards to different settlements. Swabby's Dock is where the produce goes north, and Gretch would be one of the foremen that works at the Swabby's Dock, previously a pirate dock, which is where it gets its name from. Many moons ago, before it was kind of amalgamated into the town and used. We can remove the map now if you want, Emma. That's all good. Thank you for that. Just to give people an idea, we can throw it up again if needs be at a later stage. So as you head northwards towards Swabby's Dock, Gretch kind of starts to fill you in blankly with some ideas. Like he seems to be very much in shock, and it's only now you start to take in his complexion. You've met Gretch before once or twice in your dealings, and he's usually built with quite fortitude. He's a stocky, work hardy dwarf, and he has a kind of a shock of black hair, big massive mutton chops, earrings all through his ears, a nose ring, tattoos on the side of his face that belie kind of to his previous lifestyle as maybe a pirate at some stage, and he would kind of have a reputation of being firm but fair. And to see him in this kind of a state, kind of, if for one you've begun to know him over the last while, it's thing, is Gretch single? Asks Ralph. Yeah, I think he is actually. But he is usually quite straightforward. There's very little that will actually throw him, and I think we might have lost Lou there for a sec. We'll get her back now in a second, but Gretch is kind of filling you in with some information about what it is, and apparently he kind of doesn't believe what he's saying as he's saying it. He's like, look, I don't really understand what's happened here, but we had a bunch of workers. They were taking their break. They were all having their usual meal, coming back after the break after about an hour back into the docks, and they just start to drop all like as if they just were dead. And some of them foaming at the mouth, but some of them straight up just dropped dead. We were panicked. We couldn't tell. There was no attack, nothing. And then all of a sudden, they just stood up. Alive. Well, not alive, because there's like nothing. Blank faces, hollow eyes. It's strange, and we can't really explain it. They're just standing there, not moving, not responding to anything, we're calling their names, shaking them. I will admit I smacked a few just to get a reaction, and it did nothing. So you're the closest thing we have to anything that could maybe shed some light on this that has experience in it. But we'll be there shortly. And like he kind of fills you in with that information. It seems to be patchy at best, but you're about 10 to 15 minutes away from Swabby's dock at this point. Is there anything the group want to do at this point? Or anything you want to kind of ask Gretch or do?
Yeah, I asked Gretch, were they the only ones who ate that food?
I'm not. I can't. I'm not really sure. He kind of looks a bit. He's like trying to remember, and there's a bit of panic, wondering. Like he kind of like, did I eat the food? Was it just them? Am I gonna die? Oh, I think so. It was a. They had meal. It was like just a pottage and some meat. I haven't had my break yet. I would have had some because the chef makes it for everyone, but it's from the local grain stores. It's not something that, like, I don't think we're. Do you think they've been poisoned? Oh.
It sounds like perhaps some sort of curse or something, but we'll only really know more when we get there. Is there anything more you can tell us about this food?
It's just regular food, chef's food. It's nice, it's good, it's wholesome. It's not going to set the culinary walls alight and stuff, but it'll get you through the day until dinner time. It's just meal and gruel and a bit of meat and some fruit if you're lucky, but it does as well. Keeps us handy.
I guess what I'm really wondering, is there anything that they did that no one else done? Maybe that.
Well, they just
something.
Well, they died and then came back to life. That's something. Did everyone come back to life, or did some of them stay dead?
No, they all stood up, like they're just standing there, glassy-eyed, white. Like their eyes are weird. They're not their regular eyes, and he's kind of like gesturing as he walks, and he kind of like as he's walking along, he's like, they're stuck still, hands down by their sides and staring straight ahead, as if mesmerized by something.
Are they all staring in the same direction?
No, I don't think so. Nothing that weird. Just all standing. They stood up where they dropped, and then they're just facing in different directions. I don't know. You're walking for another couple of minutes, and you eventually do come upon Swabby's dock, and you see as you kind of come up over a hill, that Swabby's dock kind of it's down into a small valley that rests out into a port, and there's kind of a large tower that sits to the side of a building, and it's a series of warehouses, and you can see sailing ships in the dock, but there's a commotion. You see there's now a crowd of people that would usually be in the docklands in the area, loading up ships, unloading ships, are now all milled out into the kind of the open courtyard area that sits on this side of the dock, and they're murmuring amongst themselves and talking, it's kind of like they hear kind of look up. One or two of them look up and they see you cresting over the hill, and there's shouts and cries, and you see a kind of a tall, thin human woman running up to Gretch, and Graham's like, they still haven't moved. They're still where we left them. I don't know. People are starting to get really freaked out, Gretch. I've had to clear the room. I've left them. We have Harbard is in there, and he's looking after, keeping an eye. He's armed and stuff, but he's only got like a sword. I don't know what we're going to do here. Hopefully, the adventurers can help, I guess. But we need to get the boats loaded, and this is putting a hold on production. This is going to cost big time. As you kind of see her look up, and she kind of takes you all in. She's a kind of a woman in her 40s, kind of black hair streaked with grey, thin but not gaunt, built on the shoulders, like hardy, has done a good day's work, normal kind of workman clothes or workwoman clothes, and she's kind of taking it all in. She seems to be some form of authoritarian with Gretch, because she seems to definitely have an air that she can tell him all this stuff and be kind of hoity about it. What do the group want to do?
I think Rose will ask. Rose is kind of hyper-fixated on this food now, and just kind of says, well, since they haven't moved and they're not moving, can we take a look at this food and check to see if it wasn't poisoned or something?
Gretch was like, sure, we can bring you down and show you. It's just in here. And he kind of starts to push through the crowd, and the crowd parts a bit as they see the three of you wander in. And Celeste, if you want, I don't know if this is totally your call, but there is a fair grouping of people here. So if you want to do your usual lifting them up and walking them through, you can.
Yeah, she probably does her usual where she holds down her battle axe like horizontal for them to get their hands onto, and just kind of puts them up like that so they can stand or sit on either shoulder.
Nice. So the clank,
so cute.
So the clank kind of Celeste the clank pushes her way through the group, and you have Rose on one shoulder and Cortinellis on the other as you kind of push your way through, moving. And the group, the crowds do eventually part, and they see you come in, and some of them were like, "Oh, we'll finally get some answers now." You kind of hear murmurs amongst the group.
Absolutely hoisting his halberd up into the air so that the standard banner flows in the breeze as we walk.
Nice. And you kind of after about 2 minutes or so, you get through the crowd and you get to kind of a double doors that is at one end of one of the kind of the warehouses where the workers kind of use as a kind of a break area and a common area where they kind of rest and stuff. And Gretch kind of pushes open the door and you step inside, and it's musty. Out of the mid-morning sun now, it's cool. There's a bit of dust in the air, and there's kind of the sun bleeds in through the door, a shaft of light, and you kind of step in, and your eyesight's adjust, and you're met with a very strange sight. It's just a room filled with about 15 people of various races and domains, and for folks watching and listening or whatever, there's different kind of things within in the world of Daggerheart where you have your place where you're from, and then your domain is what your kind of class and all this type of stuff is. So we may use wording and phrases that either I'll use wrong or forget or get wrong because, again, it's only in beta. We don't know everything. So as you step in, you see these are a multitude, like a plethora of different races. You've got human, you've got dwarves. There's a clank at the back of the room, but the clank seems to be not functioning. It's like powered down. There's one or two, again, I'm going to get these names wrong, but it's essentially a tiefling standing off on one corner. And it's just a hodgepodge of people, but they're all standing stock still, facing in different directions. And even with door opening and the light shining in, and it shines on a couple of the people, there's no reaction at all.
These are the people in the room.
In the room, yeah. So we might get our first roll of the game here. And again, I'm going to ask. So I need somebody, if you want to do anything, I need you to give me a perceive roll. If you want to start looking at the space, give me a perceive roll.
I just want to let everyone know we've got a donation there where each player gets a hope and the DM gets a fear.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone.
Who came at us? Thank you, whoever gave us that.
Thank you.
So I got a fear, one fear for me. So in this game, the GM feeds off fear and the players feed off hope. So the way it works is they can do actions with hope and fear. They roll 2 die, and if they roll with success, they roll with hope. If they roll to fail, they roll with fear. But they still get what they want, but I also get something out of it. If they roll with fear, they get what they want, but there's a caveat. I also get something out of it. If they roll with hope, they get what they want. If you roll double numbers on the dice, no matter what the numbers are, you roll double numbers, that's a critical success, and you win with hope. So you have designated dice. One is a hope dice and one is a fear dice. And if you roll in the higher numbers on the fear dice, you're rolling with fear. If you roll in the higher numbers on the hope dice, you're winning with hope. So that's just a quick explanation, which I'll probably forget in the next half an hour.
We're in like a room right now. It's not like
it's in a room, so it's like a cleared out warehouse, but there's tables and chairs everywhere. And it's kind of dirt floor, a bit of hay every now and again. It's clean, but there's these 15 or so people are dotted around the room. They essentially look like statues. They're not moving, and it's very creepy.
I do the same motion again if Rose and Cornelius want to get down off my shoulders at this stage to put them standing down.
Cool.
Absolutely. Can I use one of my experiences here?
Oh, here we go.
I would like to make an instinct roll, but I would like to use my experience. I will spend a hope to use my experience, an eye for detail.
Eye for detail. So further, anyone again, and I'll stop eventually doing this where I'm explaining things, but the players have what are called experiences, what are special talents that they have created. It's the beauty of creating the characters in this game, where they can use something that they have created themselves. Like, so what's your one called again, Dahi?
An eye for detail.
So Rose, the character, has an eye for detail, which helps them with certain things. But the phrase can be used for anything. So it's not just saying like you've got an advantage on perception checks. You can, if depending on what the GM decides, you could say, well, I want to use an eye for detail on certain things for whatever, so I can tell where I'm going to attack this person and stab them directly in the eye. Like if the GM allows it, you get to use that ability to your advantage. So for this particular situation, yes, a roll, you're going to give me a perceive roll, and you're going to use your eye for detail to give you that
+2.
advantage. So +2 to the roll.
Yeah, so the total will be +4 because I have a +2 to instinct.
Nice.
Oh my god, you're fucking joking me. That's double 9s.
That's a critical success.
Our first
roll of the game. First roll of the game. Nice.
Nice.
I like it.
Do I get a
I like
hope
it.
back for rolling with hope?
Yes, lovely.
Perfect.
So
Hog. Hell, you're so back. We're so back.
so
That's crazy.
critical success, first roll of the game. You either, I mean, look, you're rolling high straight at the gate. The only way is down. So, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So as you step into the space, Rose, you kind of your ribbit senses stretch out, and you kind of you lick one of your eyeballs, and it's like, hang on a second, and you notice that all of these creatures stock still that were supposedly dead, they are definitely still breathing. There's definitely still some form of life in them. As you look out with a critical success, you've pretty much taken the entire room and you full on break it down, like full on forensics, like CSI montage scene where Rose is just moving around the space, taking in everything, taking in the layout of where all the bodies are, looking at all the directions that they're looking in. You look over and you see there's a large pot on one end of the table with a long table that has kind of little bowls of fruit and vegetables and stuff like that are not gone off because they've only been there for the last couple of hours, but starting to wilt ever so slightly in kind of the inside heat. The bowl, the big large pot where the meal and gruel is gone cold, but there's another bowl beside that's kind of like got a selection of meats that people mix into it. There are bowls of food and discarded food that are spilled across the floor. It's definitely like as if they rushed up to get away from a meal, but that's when they all died, and then they're all just standing up. There's nothing untoward straight off the bat that you can see. It's just a room filled with people standing still, but you can definitely sense that there's some life in them. They are breathing, but you can't really tell. Like they're not dead, but they're not alive. There's something off.
Extremely odd. They're still breathing.
And I think Court and Ellis then might have a crack at perceiving something, but from the perspective of their experience of ego death and that kind of cosmic connection with the grand orchestra of the universe and how life and death kind of bleed into each other. So all up, that's rolled a 16, but with fear.
With fear. Okay, so I take a fear. You do succeed, but I take a fear on that. So what I can do is I can use a fear at any point to imbue my rolls when they come into play. So, succeed with fear. So what are you trying to do with your ego death thing? What are you trying to perceive with this?
Trying to find where that line for these folk is between kind of life and death, and get a sense for what might have happened to them or have affected them, I guess, in what way.
Are you getting close to any of the bodies or people or things?
Oh, absolutely. He's like fully just like getting up nice and close, maybe like crawling up one of their legs and kind of putting a little mushroom hand on their skull, kind of peering in these milky white eyes.
And are you trying in any way are you trying to do any of your usual, can I imbue you with life?
Not
in any
yet.
way, or
No.
Okay,
So
cool. Just checking.
He's gonna test the waters first before he actually dips in.
So you kind of clamber up one of the closest standing creatures, and you kind of have yourself hoisted up hanging onto their shoulder around their neck, and you're looking in their face, and you just see the milky eyes, and you're trying to feel and see if there's any kind of thing there either on either side of the planes of life and death. And your hand kind of glances off their face, and you just see the milky eyes swirl as if something is in there moving. I need you to give me a knowledge roll, please.
Shortly. Oh God! With a +2, so that's rolled 8 with fear.
Fear again, lovely.
Whoa.
As a horror nut TM, I love the fact that they call the GM system fear. It just gives me a tingle.
It does.
So you find yourself just being drawn in by these milky white eyes as you kind of your cap gets close and it's kind of overshadowing the two. You see this. It's kind of like you see Cortinellis swaying slightly as if partially mesmerized. Cortinellis, what you feel is there's this kind of something is stretching outwards to your mind, like trying to make a connection. And there's a slight familiarity to this. You don't know exactly what it is, but it's familiar. And it feels like, does anyone ever get that feeling when you're talking to somebody and they're a commanding presence and it's kind of like you get a bit of goosebumps and a tingle up the back of your head? So Cortinellis, you're feeling that sensation. If you had hair on your arms, on your fungal arms, it will be standing on end. Your kind of flesh, your mushroomy flesh quivers slightly. And there's a ripple in the back of your mind, and the underline of your cap kind of like quivers, and there's a burst of spore as you kind of pull yourself back.
Oh, I spoiled myself. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I think in that case, I might go with one more crack at something. So, so Cortinellis has an ability called Death Connection.
Yes.
Its intended purpose is probably a little bit different than what we're seeing here, but we'll give it a go. So the ability itself, while touching a corpse that died recently, I can mark a stress to extract one memory related to a specific emotion or sensation.
Nice.
So I think Cortinellis is going to use that, but specifically targeting the source of this flesh quivering feeling that he's got going, rather than the meat around it.
Nice. Yeah, okay. And does that, you have to spend the stress? Does that then automatically happen for you? You just do it?
Yeah, it would seem so.
Excellent. So stress is another in-game currency, folks, that people can use. It also is something that can affect them in some way, that eventually they get certain amounts of stress, they lose HP, and it impacts their overall abilities and their as an individual until a rest or a short rest. So you spend the stress, and your usual instinct of that particular ability kicks in. And are you focusing on? Well, sorry, tell me again what you're focusing on.
Yeah, so not so much the corpse itself, like the meat sack around the thing, but specifically trying to focus in on the source of this feeling that's coming out of them.
Two things are going to happen here, okay? You close your eyes and stretch out. In many ways, you've done this before when you're contacting the Mycelial network, when you're talking to your fellow brethren, when you're trying to reach the other side or help something be pushed to that way. And as you reach out and feel for that sense of connection, you are hit by what can only be described as something that feels like a sledgehammer in the face. And at this point, both Rose and Celista, you see Cortinellis get launched across the room. And you impact, Cortinellis, you impact on the wall on the far side.
No!
Is it possible
Yeah?
while he's sailing through the air for me to use my long tongue to grab him if he comes within close range of me?
You can if you give me an agility roll. Give me an agility.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really bad at agility, but I'm going to do it.
I'll tell you what. We'll give us a finesse roll. Give us a finesse roll.
Perfect. Oh yeah, sorry. It is the long tongue is a finesse weapon.
Yeah, finesse. Yeah, it's finesse.
Finesse. Okay, I'm a +1 to that. I'm just checking my other abilities. See
For anyone on the stream, there, Dottie's long tongue is a finesse weapon.
Let me just see. Okay, so I do have an ability called Versatile Fighter, which means I could choose to use the character trait of my choice for an equipped weapon rather than the trait the weapon calls for. So can I use Presence for this instead, using that ability?
Go for it.
Perfect. Which is +4. Oh, that's an 18 with Hope.
Hope, yeah. No, so, Cortinellis, you feel that slam into your chest as you're thrown off the individual you're clinging to. We have gotten 3 more donations in that just popped up. Oh my God. And the total, just to give you an idea, we have raised now 4,426 euros. My God.
Oh my God. It's not even day 3.
That is insane. People are amazing. Now the question is, did people donate to give me fear, or did they donate to give people hope?
Hope.
That's what I'm questioning. I don't know. I'm not seeing. I can't
Well,
see.
My mother donated 25. She just said for whatever, so she didn't actually specify. So I'm going to specify.
Okay.
On her behalf.
Right.
And because it's 25, I think it's going to make it interesting where I give each of us a hope and 2 fear to the DM, just to make it spicy.
Nice. Okay. So you flick your tongue out, and as Cortinellis is kind of catapulted off this body, your tongue just instinctively flicks out and grabs him, and kind of gently, you kind of land on the ground. You don't take any damage as you're cushioned by this. But at the same time,
sorry to interrupt you, Wade. Yeah. Each of us get 2 more hope. My hope is full now. I don't know about anyone else. And you get 4. You get 4 fear, and this is from.
Oh my God!
Sponge Master.
Thank you so much.
Also.
Sweet Christmas. Okay.
This is gonna be interesting.
I've got so much fear now. This is insane. Well, I might use some of it now in a second, but we'll see what happens. So, as Cortinellis is grabbed by the tongue and safely lands in the dust as it kicks up, Emily wants to give a stress to Promethean. Okay.
Told you.
So Promethean, has Emily donated? That's the question I have to ask.
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so Promethean, you take stress.
Crazy.
For the punch in the chest, let's say. But as that happens, the body you were catapulted off twists and this horrible cracking sound as the body twists and elongates its arms, and the head kind of twists itself, and the neck elongates, and the milky eyes bulge as it towers over the form of Cortinellis as you lay on the ground, and it kind of looks around the room as you see this malformed, Slender Man-esque type creature, kind of twisted and broken out of the once humanoid individual that stood there, and this kind of crackling voice emerges from it. Too long have I watched the souls of your mere mortals pass me by. Too long have I been subjected to almost tasting your collected experiences of millions of lies and lives as they pass my domain, without so much as a pause. But no longer. I have spent a considerable amount of my power, and no longer will the souls of the dead ignore my call. No longer will they be claimed by others. I am moribund, and I will take you all, and you will not live past this day, left as husks upon the land. and the body just twists back into like a decrepit, kind of misshapen humanoid form as it crumples to the ground, broken. Its milky white eyes staring off into the distance. There's now kind of acrid stench rising off it. What are you doing?
Great.
Terrifying. Rose is going to jump into action, I think. Straight away. I would like to immediately take a stress to swap an ability that I have, a card, a domain effect. And I'm going to run in with my halberd, and Rose runs in with his halberd drawn and just says, "Foul creature, you are not of beauty." And I'm going to attack him with my halberd to try and get him away from our Cortinellis.
Now the body has already, like, the body misformed and crumpled down into the ground. Oh my god, we've got another donation. 2 hope for each player and 4 fear for the DM from Ben, the Sponge Master. Oh my god.
That's the one I read out earlier.
Is that the one you read out earlier? Okay, lovely. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff.
I think Cortinellis will start to stop Rose from attacking this corpse and or nearly recovered person who's not a corpse.
Yeah, I think,
but we'll then just kind of settle back and go, see how this goes.
I think Rose like strikes where like the crumpled figure was, and is just kind of like looking about, very alert, and just like it's basically kind of like in his best knight way, braggadociously like challenging this thing to show itself in a way. Like, where are you?
Celesta has definitely taken a couple of steps in at this point and is on guard in front of her 2 companions, looking at all of these creatures as she sees them now around them.
As you are all kind of focused on the crumpled form that has fallen to the ground, the tiefling, because I can't remember what they're called in this game, the tiefling in the far corner, Infernals, the Infernus in the far corner twists and turns its form. Doesn't distort in any way, but you just see it kind of head half tilted in the wrong direction, neck bones poked. As it kind of looks, seems like, "You will all live a half life and a half death, and I will swallow all of your souls. I will feast upon your experiences, and they will be mine. I will no longer sit in the void, experiencing nothing." And then that body in turn falls to the ground.
So, with Cortinellis's lawborn community, is there some kind of check I can make on whether I recognize the name? Was it Moribund?
Of course, Moribund.
Excellent. And assuming the well-read comes into play, that'll give me advantage on that roll.
Okay.
Nice. What is advantage in this game?
That's a great question. I should check that before doing it.
Advantage in this game, I think, I could be wrong, but we will decide on how we're going to play it. But I think you add a D6
to your whole
roll.
That does sound very familiar, yes.
Yes, I think you add a D6 to your roll. That's what advantage is. And I think also some of you, I can't remember which one, have an ability that, I think it could be Lou with Celista, that you add, there's a particular trait you have where you get to, I think it's unstoppable in combat. You've got add an unstoppable die when you're attacking, so that gives you a little bit of a boost as well. So
yes,
there's different mechanics in the game that kind of lean into that, but advantage in this game is you roll a d6 along with your 2 die, and that is the advantage. Cool.
I have an ability also, so I would like to try and help Cortinellis. Maybe the 2 can talk, because Rose was raised in a pretty wealthy society, so it's probably like read a lot. I have the ability Tactician, which says when you help an ally, they can add one of your experience to their roll as well.
Oh, wow. Cool.
In a tag team roll, you can add a D20 to your hope die instead of D12. Okay. And I would like to use my eye for detail again to kind of pour over wine.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's extremely viable. I like that. That's cool.
So I think we both roll in a tag team roll, I think.
Okay. Cortinellis, for this, give me a knowledge roll. And use whatever bonuses then, whatever Rose has given you as a bonus. Work away with
I
that.
think I just want to see what a tag team role is, because that's what this specifically is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Each player can choose one time per session to spend 3 hope to tag team roll. Okay, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
This is where the hope comes in. Now you've got an abundance of hope at this stage.
Yes,
so you're
I have a
going
ton.
so.
And I have a way to give some out as well if I need to. So I am going to spend 3 and then combine their actions in a unique and exciting way. Both players make separate action rolls, but before resolving rolls outcome, choose one of the rolls to apply for both players' results. Okay, so I'm assuming we're choosing Cortinellis's result because he's the one finding the information, but Rose is going to like pour over some like old tome that he has with him or something.
Sure. No, we say you have Rose always carries there's a particular tome that comes from the large libraries of the Crystal Pavilion that you've always carried with you. It's a family heirloom, and it has a multitude of different legends that lead to the land of beauty, and it ties into a lot of the deities and the folklore and the legends of the land, and it's something you always reference. So that'll be something that would give you a role for this.
Yes.
So you can use that, and then your eye for detail ability as well. The eye for detail gives a +2, is it?
Yes, so both of us get that +2 for the purposes of this roll, and I'm rolling a D20 for my hope die instead of a D12 because of this.
Nice.
It's a 15 with fear, but I gain a hope because I rolled with fear because I'm a warrior. I gain a hope for that.
Okay, I get a fear.
Incredible. All right, so I have rolled 2 10s, which makes that a critical success at 20. I also get from the advantage die another 4 on that.
Nice.
I've thrown in a prayer die just because I'm going to need to burn some hope so that we can make use of hope that's being donated.
Yeah.
And then there's the additional 2, so all up 28.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, critical success.
Nice. So yeah, look, Cortinellis being the fungal that they are, you live in the realm of life and death. You kind of teeter in between the two. Not being an avatar of such of any, but the name Moribund is an ancient name, rarely spoken. You don't really know it. You haven't really heard it in conversation, but it triggers a memory. And along with Rose going through their tome, and you going through any scrolls or any knowledge base you have, the memories start to come back to you of this. On top of this, Celesta, I need you to give me a knowledge roll. Just as an aside, give me a knowledge roll. Okay. Cortinellis, you realize that Moribund is the deity that sits between life and death. They are the precipice. They are the moment where somebody dies and then passes on to the next plane. It is a moment where you live, for you require that moment to happen in order to imbue life. Moribund is the deity that allows that to happen. And now it seems they are refusing to do so.
I don't know if you're going to believe me or not, but I rolled it here on Demiplate. I got a crit success.
Fucking yeah. Nice. Celesta, as Cortinellis, do you pass this knowledge on to the group?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and the other thing, I'll just point this out. So one of the experiences that I went with, I've called Better Together, which I think is representative of the team that we've become over the past 12 months hanging out together. But also subtly the fact that you've all been breathing my spores for about a year, and I feel like there's a little piece of me inside the both of you.
Nice.
And so we can probably communicate these things to each other.
You are all slowly but surely turning into clickers. That's what's happening.
A little bit more easily than just with words necessarily. So I think we vibe each other pretty easily, courtesy of that.
Nice. So we might even go as far as to say this, right? And I'm gonna maybe I might retcon this. If you want to do this, you can. But there's nearly, because of more of Cortinellis's spores and the inhalation of them, there's a slight telepathic link between the three of you, just a slight one, because he's imbued with that, and that's how he communicates with the Mycel network.
That's kind of cute.
You are slowly but surely becoming part of the network, whether you like it or not.
Family.
Celesta, upon hearing the name Moribund and upon Cortinellis in kind of giving that information across to the group, your memory banks spark a bit and they flash. And there are moments where you see past members of your crew and their moments of death. And one or two of those moments you don't recall seeing before. You've forgotten them. Just at the spark of that name.
I think I've come across this before.
What do you mean?
Something flashed when you said his name. It's been a while since I've had a memory reappear. It's not full though.
Well, that's quite the breakthrough.
It's something.
Is it a good one?
I don't know
scary
yet.
One.
I didn't get much from it, but I got a little something. I'm wondering at this point, I don't know if any of the rest of the dock workers are kind of still standing around watching what we're doing, but I just want to analyze their reaction if they are here to what.
No, they literally pushed you into the room, closed the door, and they're all outside. They literally were like, get the fuck, and that was it. They left you to your own devices.
So I'm wondering if is there a window that I could look at just to see what they're doing? I just want to see if there's any sort of suspicious behavior, because I have like experience in, like, from being on the sea. One of my experiences is a swashbuckler. Yeah. So I just want to see if I can see any of them acting oddly.
So there's kind of like, there are high windows in here because this was a converted storeroom. So the windows are high in the wall, but there's a few crates that you can stand upon, and you're tall, so you can kind of perch yourself up and you go to look out a window. And it's murky, so you have to kind of clean it a bit. And as your ocular sensors adjust, you look out into the fields where all the people were standing, and every single one of them were standing stock still and staring off into different directions.
Yeah.
Unmoving, milky white eyes on every single one of them.
I think this problem has gotten bigger for us. They're all acting like this outside as well.
Goodness, you're joking.
I don't joke.
I was. I'm sorry, I'm very new at it. What do we do? Is there... Cortinellas, could you perhaps beseech your divine to gain some sort of... Are they working together? You have some sort of connection to death and the dying and those in between, correct?
Yeah, I feel like the two would probably be a little bit opposed to the grand scheme of things, but it's a really good idea. Let me take root real quick and have a bit of a conversation with the unknowable cosmic entity that is my god.
I just love the fact that an avatar of death sounds like that. Oh my god, amazing.
Rose would take a stance next to Cortinellas to kind of like with tower shield up and halberd up to protect Cortinellas while he's doing so.
Thanks, buddy. Also, thanks for the save before with your tongue. You should probably have a drink. You felt a little dehydrated.
That's a very touching concern. I really appreciate it. And he actually does take out his water skin and takes a swig. It's like, you're always looking out for my health, friend.
So you're protecting Cortinellas, just kind of keeping guard. Okay.
Yeah.
I do actually have an ability for this too. So divination, once per long rest, I can spend 3 hope to reach out to the forces beyond and ask one question about an event, person, place, or situation in the near future. Your vision of the world momentarily twists and shape around you to show the answer, though it may be cryptic, obscured, or partial.
You don't have to. You just spend the hope, and it just happens. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's burned until we have a long rest.
Nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you focus. Celeste is kind of just stepping down off the crates, and you hear the clank and the whir as Celeste steps down off the crates, and then she starts to slow. Rose beside you, moving with their shield and their blade, kind of stepping around you, keeping an eye on all the bodies. They start to slow. As the world swirls and stops, dust that was kicking up from Rose's movement hovers in the air as the sunlight beaming in through the windows catches it, and you can just see it slowly casting in front of your eyes. The spores that kind of generally hover around you spin And you can just see them presenting themselves in front of you. Everything slows. There's a moment where nothing exists in that time space except you. And then slowly but surely, each individual person turns, their milky white eyes focusing on you. They're all staring as they all slowly but surely in unison turn to face Cortinellus the fungal. And their heads twitch and turn. And they bend and look down at your form. And then they in turn freeze. And there's like a crack of thunder and lightning. And you hear this wispy voice reach out. We cannot reach you. We have been cut off. A barrier has been raised. You are on your own. And there's a sharp intake of breath and a sucking sound as time starts to slowly move and the dust swirls and Celesta stands back down off the box and Rose now moves slowly in front of you. And the figures are all stock still and they've all still staring down at you, all focused. And the room is silent.
Cortinellus will kind of raise his eyes to his two companions just below the level of his giant mushroom cap head very dramatically and say, well, I think we're fucked.
Nice. I would like to point out Emily Grace's joke in the chat. We cannot reach you about your car's extended warranty. So yeah, nice. I like it. So, what are the group doing?
Well, perhaps we... Oh, I'm at a little bit of a loss in all of this. You said we're goosed? I would use the word you used, but I shan't sully my tongue as such.
We seem to be on our own with this one. Which isn't super helpful. I was kind of hoping for some kind of divine intervention. I've got nothing for you.
So This is a travesty. The cycles of life and death must be restored. That is the essence of beauty, is life and its limits.
So are they dead? Do we need to just...
I don't believe they're either dead or alive.
Yeah, which is really messed up. That's not a thing that should exist.
That's very confusing.
Like, it creeps me out, and I can handle a lot of shit, but that's just weird.
And I have faced terrors in my time, but none such as this.
I wouldn't feel great about actually murdering them though, because maybe we can help them and bring them back.
Perhaps we should see what's going on outside. I don't like all of those rules being made in private. No, I'm kidding.
I am going to spend a fear, and as you were all discussing this, you haven't noticed that the kind of 15 or so, well now 14 because one of them is crumpled on the ground, still breathing but like contorted. The 14 remaining individuals have slowly started to move, unbeknownst to you, silently. Think the Weeping Angels in Doctor Who.
Oh no!
Just move.
Emotional
And they're there, and you haven't been paying attention, and they're now slowly but surely moving around you. they're not between you and the door, but they're kind of starting to get closer to you.
Well, I think we should probably be quick about what we're about to do. So let's get out of this room and see what's going on outside.
As Rose is saying that, literally, I just grabbed the two of them by the back of the neck and I'm just walking backwards with them.
Cool. Are you heading for the door? You're just aiming to go outside. You kick open the door as you're carrying them out, and it kind of swings open, and you can see that they're slowly shifting, and they seem to be. Like, it's not like they're moving. It's like there's moments where they're just out of sync, and then they're there, and then they're out of sync, and then they're there, and they're moving towards you. As you step out into the space, backing out into the outdoors, the high sun of it's now kind of into the mid-afternoon, you kind of turn, and it's a similar situation where you see Gretch standing at the front of the group, a contorted look of shock on his face, but milky white eyes as he kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers-esque just is pointing, and they're shifting and moving towards you and shifting and moving towards you, just kind of taking little kind of blinks in and out of reality as they move in your general direction. Slowly but surely.
Celesta, can you get us out of here real quick? That'd be great.
I don't know if I can. I pop the two of them on my shoulders and then I start slowly trying to like make big strides away from all of these.
What's the like? Is Celesta when you like so? And just paint the picture for me here, Lou. So when Celesta has the erosion and the worn down, and obviously the like probably barnacles and sea mollusks hanging off her form. But is she slow? Can she move? Is the case of the rust has really gotten into those knee joints, full on arthritis, or is it a case of she can go full tilt Terminator style?
I think she can go full tilt. It's more like aesthetically on the exterior, she's got this rust on her. She does try and take good care of herself when time permits. Certainly with the adventuring we've been doing recently, I know Rose has been helping out, helping her keeping her joints oiled and everything. I was
going to say, Rose is a dab hand in the kitchen and always has some form of cooking oil or something, and has definitely been helping out here and there, and is also used to oiling his own armor. So he just kind of applies those skills to helping Celeste keep.
Why am I thinking of Dorothy with her oil can and her lunch pail with the tin?
Yes, literally.
Yes, literally that. Yeah.
Yep.
Eep, eep, eep.
Nice.
Except on a nearly 7 foot tall clank.
Nice. Yeah. So you're slowly backing away from these blinking kind of zombie-esque creatures as they kind of move towards you. What direction are you going in? Are you heading back to Miller's Rest, or are you heading elsewhere?
I think heading back towards Miller's Rest to see if we can talk to anyone else there. That's where I would assume, unless Rose or Cornelius puts me in another direction.
It does look like there is it says we have above us, there's Tower of Jellic Thane, Sorcerer at Large. Do we know anything about that? Like, it just from living, do we know if that's like a person of knowledge?
The whole party can give me a collective knowledge roll for this if you wish.
Okay.
Because as I've said over the last year, you've adventured in this area. So if you know the Sorcerer at Large, the fabled Ferric Jane.
Would I get any sort of help on that for being noble, or is that not applicable here?
With the lore that I've dropped on you having that tome of lore, yes, I will allow it.
Cool. Perfect.
I got a 10 with fear.
10 with fear, okay.
That is also a 10 with fear.
Okay.
12 with fear.
Oh, yeah, I'm liking these. Okay.
So I get a hope for hitting a fear roll as well.
Collectively, as you kind of are all, as they're kind of talking to you astride your shoulders, Celesta, as you're kind of moving, trying to decide what direction you go, you realize that Ferric Jane, Sorcerer at Large, that's his full title. It does live in the Northern Tower, not far from here, about a good half a day's journey, and he would be the general knowledge of the arcane in this area of the realm, and might be able to help you in some form. And this, for you don't know how far this has traveled, and like encompassed in that knowledge roll, I'm going to give you the fact that you're looking at this going, right, we were in that room for about half an hour And in that half an hour, the entirety of the workforce outside were also impacted by this. It didn't take that long for it to spread. Who knows how far it's gone, so on and so forth. So you do now have that kind of spark. Theric might be able to help, maybe. So what do you want to do?
I can wait for the input from Rose and Cortinellis.
I guess we book it towards him. I guess that's Rose's idea. It's like, we don't have the knowledge on this. Like, we could fight and kill these people, but in both Cortinellis and, from what I can imagine, Cortinellis had previously said that he doesn't like the idea of just murdering these people. And Rose still believes these people worth protecting. And he thinks that protecting them means figuring out what's going on with them.
I'm still moving anyway to try and get us away from these people. Just to point that out, we haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I'm with Rose on this, I think.
Okay.
All right.
So you turn and book it northwards towards Theric Jane. Thane. What did I call this dude?
Jellic Thane. You were, yeah.
Jellic Thane, Sorcerer at Large. That's his name. Full title.
TM.
And he is a well-known sorcerer, arcanist. He's kind of got a mixed bag of multiple kind of titles, but his main thing will be Sorcerer at Large. Promethean gets another fear from Emily. So is that a stress?
Stress. You know that they actually turn into like damage at a certain point, right?
At a certain point, they do turn into damage. So
please stop.
I may step in if it gets too crazy. All right, I don't know.
Fine.
I personally don't know what this Emily's vendetta is against you. So you know,
she's just a terrible human being. Also, we're really not far from 4,500. So
holy moly,
bring it!
Let's
go. Wow.
Look, if we can get to 4,500 on this stream, I will load Promethean with all the stress we can get him. Happily. But you know, we have to get there first, folks. Come on, and also don't forget about the prizes as well. So the group are booking it toward Jellic Thane, Sorcerer at Large's tower, which is about a half a day's journey from Swabby's Dock. There's a main road that runs up along the coast, and it is open ground. There's no woodlands, there's nothing like that until you get closer to Jellic's tower. So is Celeste going full tilt? We're going like T1000.
Absolute full tilt. I don't know if you want me to do a roll or anything, but
no. I'm just gonna allow. Yeah, like, this is, a Rose has probably got. It's probably, you think of like, you know, it's Led Zeppelin. As like you got the banner waving in the wind as the blinking zombies are chasing after you, and you're going full tilt. You're going top speed on you, and once you get past like the first couple of 100 yards, you look back and it seems that there doesn't seem to be anyone following you, and there doesn't seem to be anyone on the road ahead. Jellic, from what you know of him, you had one or two dealings directly and indirectly with him previously. Help with some dealings with local bandits that happened when you first arrived into town. You also had to help him transport some stuff. He has an airship that he uses to transport some of his arcane materials to the port of the Grey Lords, which is towards the west, which is where some of the pirate kings have laid claim and laid settled, and he deals with them. So as you make your half a day's journey up, is there anything the group want to do? Do you want to take a rest? Do you want to stop? Or do you want to just keep going and maybe have conversations along the way?
If we can afford it, although we don't really want to waste any time. I was thinking about a short rest so we could get this stress off. Cortinellis.
No need, I love it.
Okay, great.
I'm riding the high.
Are we good to keep going? Do you think we don't need a short rest?
Like, I'll just keep going. I don't know what that would do to me in terms of not taking a rest, whether I should take a stress for that if I keep pushing myself.
You will take a stress if you keep pushing yourself to go the full tilt at full speed for half a day. There will be a stress mark after the end of it.
I'm going to take it just to get us there.
Okay.
Nice.
So half a day's journey. Let me see if it goes without. I'm going to pump a fear into that, and you're about. I got them. I may as well use them. You're about 2 hours from Jellick's tower, and you're just coming onto kind of the outskirts of the woods that curve up along the side, the kind of the eastern side of the road that lead up to his tower. And you, like Celeste, you're going full tilt. You're the other two. You're hanging on. Celeste hasn't let up and has kept going on, literally like a machine. But as you kind of come up over the top of a hill that leads in and kind of turns around to the right, sorry, to the left, with the woodlands on the right hand side, I need you all to give me a presence roll, please.
Okay.
Who's that?
No, actually, no. Sorry, not a presence roll. An instinct roll. An instinct roll. Thank you very much.
Instinct. Is this to perceive? Is it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 19 with fear from me.
Okay. Jeez.
Got that fear back straight after spending
Yeah.
it.
I don't know.
Gotta love it.
It's okay. I get to build up stuff with fear too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all rolling the instincts, sorry.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So with the
That's
plus
my
3,
fault.
so it's 10 with fear.
10 with fear. Oh, God.
That is going to be instinct. I think I have a +2 to that. I do. So that is 14 with fear, and I will gain a hope because I
Okay. Just as you're coming up to kind of the crest of the hill and the woods are on the right hand side, you hear these strange kind of gurgling, raspy sounds as if something is in pain, kind of gargling, choking, and stumbling out in front of you. Then you see this kind of half battered orcish type creature, not so much an orc, but it's got like green pallid skin with blotches all over it, long wispy ears with fluff on the end, tusks, a kind of a blunt busted nose, and a weird square jaw that's kind of with bones jutting out of the side of it, covered in furs. It stumbles out into the road, drops to the ground, and kind of rolls over, gurgling and spitting. And as it rolls over onto its back, you notice its throat has been cut, and it's kind of greenish, brackish blood is spewing up out of its mouth, and it kind of flops down, and you see it gargle and drop still. And Celeste, you're just coming up on this. Are you kind of?
I slow my pace a little bit, but I'm
Okay.
still moving, but just to slow down to give the guys a chance to look at the scene.
Okay. You're now about 15 feet from this, and the creature then just sits up. And then
I was really hoping that wasn't going to happen.
And then it stands up and turns slowly. You see its palish green skin mottled, losing some of its coloration. Its large kind of oval-shaped eyes that were seemingly once red, slowly but surely you see this milky color wash through them as it turns, twitches ever so slightly. And its kind of bone-jutted jaw kind of dislocates a bit, and you just hear this, "You will not stop me. I will consume everything. All of these lives will be mine, including yours." And with that, as it kind of reaches out with its hand, a blade catches its head in the side, and the body just like crumples to the ground. "That's not going to do you any good, you know." As the voice kind of escapes out of its mouth and its milky eyes still wide, it slowly but surely starts to stand up, the blade pointed in its head, and you see pushing out through the shrubbery, and a head pops out and looks at you all, and it's this horned helm, scraggy beard of a human. And so, what are you doing around here? And that's when we're going to go to break. So, folks, just to give you an update while we're on break, we are at 4,436 of our 5,000 goal. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Break is for 15 minutes. There's donation incentives. There's raffle incentives. So please, if you can donate, if you can help out in any way, we do appreciate checking out the stream. Don't forget to enter in for the prizes in the chat. And we'll be back in about 15 minutes. So take care. See you then. Hello, welcome back. We are back. We're here. Just an update on the total. We are now officially at 4,450.
The frick, you guys.
So we are 50 away from 4,500. So, nice. So, just to remind you,
call it down here, cheeky little pineapple will get us there, mate.
Nice. So where we left off, the trio of adventurers found themselves in the town of Miller's Rest, and they were called upon by the locals to investigate weird goings on in the local kind of dockland section called Swabby's Dock. Upon going to Swabby's Dock, they found some strange situation with people that had seemingly recently died and then come back to life, but then were teetering on the verge between life and death. Upon some investigation, they discovered that it is the god Moribund, the deity who is responsible for the moment of passing, the moment between life and death when somebody dies and then passes on to the next plane of existence. But the god Moribund no longer wants that responsibility. They want to experience the lives as they pass by them, and have forced all creatures to live in a state of kind of limbo, stuck between that moment of life and death. And our trio of adventurers are now traveling to the tower of renowned sorcerer Jellic Thane, sorcerer at large. And just before they get to Jellic Thane, sorcerer at large's tower, they are stopped on the road by a seemingly dying orcish creature who has their throat slit. And as they pass, they rise again, and the voice of Moribund echoes forth, warning the adventurers that their souls will be his or theirs. And then a strange head pops itself out of the shrubbery nearby, asking, "What are you doing here?" And that's where we left off, and that's where we now find our trio of adventurers as this kind of grubby-looking, bearded individual, shaggy hair, horned helm, kind of sits on their head, surrounded, covered in furs. They move to retrieve the blade that is poking from the now standing orcish creature, as they kind of look puzzled as they reach over and tentatively pull it out while looking at the three of you, taking you all in. They grasp the blade and pull it deftly out of the orcish creature's head. Dark ichor spilling forth and squirting, but the creature unmoving, just standing there, eyes staring straight ahead. This human cleans the blade, kind of half sheathes it and looks you all up and down. "Well, what are you doing here?"
We have come across a bit of an anomaly. We're meeting people like this across the place ever since Swabby's deck down the road, and we've come to seek an audience with Jellic Thane, sorcerer at large, to try and glean some knowledge about what could be happening or what could be done to fix this.
Alternatively, to borrow their airship and wait it out.
"Oh, they've an airship, you say?" And he kind of turns and looks and kind of squints up the road. And you can see now at this point, kind of curving up around the forest area, that's the woodland forest is here, and kind of up higher up the hill and off around to the right a bit, you can just see poking up off the horizon the kind of the towered windmill of Jellic Thane's abode. And Sure enough, tethered to the highest most part of it, sticking out from a platform, like an airship dock, is this kind of little mini Zeppelin-esque kind of piece of transport. And you see this horned-helmed individual kind of staring off as they take a couple of steps towards the tower and squint. He's like, airship, handy, yes, right. Thank you for that information, I suppose. And he kind of looks at the orc again and kind of gives it a bit of a unsheathes the blade and then pokes it a bit again, pushes it, and it goes, and the head seeping ever so slightly. I think I'll have a word with our friend, Jeddick Thane, if you will. And he sheathes the blade and then starts to stomp off towards the thing. And you then realize as this individual moves, there was a very pungent smell. And the furs that are around its form, like on its shoulders, down its back, it's not wearing any trousers. It's got like a fur underpants. Think He-Man-esque, like furred underwear with a belt, a furred cape, kind of a furred mantle, and then the helm. Very Viking-esque, bare-chested, with a kind of a bandolier that has knives and stuff in it. Very much a stinky individual, not clean in any way, shape, or form.
Kind of getting weird vibes off of this guy. I kind of want to make sure I'm standing at my full height and really just imposing my presence on this stranger.
They've started to walk away.
I'm keeping up with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, knowing that they're going in the same direction we are, but just he's giving me weird vibes now. So I'm just.
Like you're towering over him. He's not so much a short king. He's kind of like he's got about 5'6", 5'7". And he kind of looking up at you. He's like, so you're going to keep going that direction? Then yeah, I take it. Yeah. Are you friends with this individual?
I stay quiet. I'm sketched out by him.
Friends with whom? With this orcish?
This jelly person you're talking about.
Oh, Jellic Thorn, Sorcerer at Large.
Yeah, that one.
No, Jellic Thorn, Sorcerer at Large, is just quite a renowned figure. We were hoping to get an audience with him. He seems to know quite a lot of things, and we're in the market for information, friend.
He's renowned, so he's famous.
Well, yes.
And he's a sorcerer. So he does all
At
the
Large.
Okay, and he does all the magic stuff. Do you know? Is he powerful?
Well, he's a renowned sorcerer at large, so I hope he's powerful. That's what we're hoping.
Okay. And he kind of, as Celeste's kind of walking, he slows his pace a bit as if to kind of stay slightly behind, but keeps up as he's going. And like, I mean, I don't know whether smell in any way impacts on Celeste, whether your sensors are even attuned to that type of stuff. Where Cortinellis and Rose, Cortinellis in particular, you know what the smell of decay is. And this is kind of like the smell of offal and dried blood and shit, basically. It's not a good stench. This individual seems to have been out and about in the world and hasn't showered in quite some time.
Why do you want to see him now?
Oh, I mean, I've got very important business, of course, in the current situation that is we find ourselves in.
My friend, lying is not a beautiful trait. Please remain honest with us if you can.
I swear, as my name is Noddy Wax McGinty, I am an honest individual, that I will uphold my honour, and I have umbrage with the words you are uttering, good sir. And you can sense that it's like he's definitely forcing the idea of what he thinks is kind of proper conversation following your regal stature.
Mm-hmm. I think being out of his hometown for quite a bit, I think, and being a noble, Rose knows a bullshit noble when he meets one, or kind of knows this, and it's just going to keep a little quiet about it, and it's just going to say, well, Your audience will have to come after ours. Ours is of utmost importance, grave importance, if you will.
I'm wondering, as Rose says this, if I can put my hand on this stranger's shoulder and just give it a little bit of a squeeze.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Celista, don't touch him.
Just do it. Just do.
You never get that smell off your hand.
It's the bog of eternal stench. So give me a presence roll, please, Celista.
I will.
Is this considering, since we're both speaking to them, is this can I be considered helping?
Sure, I'll allow it.
Well, just before that, I was going to do is because I do have the ability bold presence.
Ooh,
I'm going to spend a hope to also add my strength trait to the roll.
Okay. Yeah, that's a +3, so yeah, go for it.
I want to double check what help an ally does, because I went a bit full send with the dual rolling thing last time, because you can only do the double roll thing. Each player can only do that once per long rest.
Okay.
So I basically just give you advantage, so you get to roll a d6 and add it to the total.
That as well. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I cannot lend you one of my experiences here because none of them work really.
So that was... Sorry, I haven't done it right. Give me 1 sec.
No worries, take your time, no rush at all. Rose, you get a sense that this guy is very much putting this stuff on. Like, it's a case of he's trying to seem impressive, but he's very much a brigand in some shape or form.
And it stinks. So I'm like, a noble would
100%. And like, you mean, like, the name doesn't ring a bell. Like, when he gives you the name, it's kind of like, who the fuck is this guy? But it's a case of, that the northern realms in this section, you're not too far from pirate lands. You're not too far from lands of brigands. You've dealt with bandits in this place. And this guy's definitely giving you bandit vibes. So, Celista, what did you get?
A 29 will hope.
Holy moly.
Jesus Christ.
Bloody hell. I think that's that's a good roll. So as this individual is like blah 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 blah, Celista just silently moves her hand onto its shoulders, and your hand sinks into the fur with a squelching sound as it's like, and you feel kind of muscle underneath it, and you squeeze, and as the individual's like, and I bequeath to you, good sir, and it's ow, 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 ow. Oh, okay, and he tries to pull, and as you pull away, it's like there's and some of the fur comes away from the cape, and your hand is covered drippings with the goo, and you're it's kind of like putting your hand in molasses slightly, as it kind of like and you're shaking it off. But he's like you don't have to do it that hard. Look, obviously I'm not a noble in any way, shape, or form. I was with my group.
I love Prometheus. I love your ability to just take us out of it every time. It's wonderful.
I was traveling with my group, and we got accosted, and then there was a bunch of people. We thought we were gonna, relieve them of their wares as such, but they all turned on and started phasing or something. That's what one of my buddies called him before. It kind of twisted his head around, and then he died, and then he got up again, and then he turned on Bill, and then he put his hand through Bill's face, and then Bill got up and he'd no face, and then he just starts to describe this horrible scene of ultraviolence as his band of brigands were dispatched by what seemingly sounds like a group of moribunds kind of victims. And in turn, they became moribunds victims as they refused to die. I got away through my prowess and my ability to fight. I ran into our friend, and he points back over his shoulder there, who tried to accost me, Noddy Wax McGinty, feared brigand king in this land?
Of course. King Noddy Flax
Wax, as in wax.
That's wonderful, my darling. But so you ran away, and now you're heading towards this sorcerer with us.
He's got an airship, hasn't he? I want to get on that. And he points to Cortinellis. Your idea of taking the ship, that kind of sparked an idea in my brain. And I think that's what we really should be doing.
Yes.
Getting away from all of the death and stuff. And not real death, but, not death.
Well, this has been certainly a time that we've had. Shall we continue, Little League?
Little League, is that your actual group name?
Yeah, that's our group name, yeah.
Nice, I like it.
I kind of I stare at this dude just to kind of keep that thing of like I'm watching you presence over him as I start picking up the pace again to go towards the Sorcerer's Tower.
Okay.
And maybe have him struggling to keep up with me as well.
Okay, so you kind of briskly make your way, and he's moving at his pace, but he's not. He is falling behind you, and he's kind of looking behind as he goes and scanning the tree line as he moves as well. But within a couple of minutes, then you find yourself cresting the top of the hill to the tower, and it's a sight to behold. It's a mishmash. Like, think of an alchemist tower, but it's built of different types of architecture, mishmash of brick, wood, metal, all kind of cobbled together. It kind of seems to go off in a weird organic way, and there is like shrubbery and kind of foliage and trees that seem to grow into the building and push it off in another direction. There's beautiful flowers up one side of it, like blossoms, that swirl around and seem to frame a couple of the oval windows that kind of adorn it, with then square windows up the top that are completely mismatched. So it's very much the Frankenstein's monster of a tower. That seems to be all pushed together. There is a main door, double doors at the bottom that are kind of atop a small little staircase that reaches up. There doesn't seem to be anyone around, but you hear kind of crashes and smashes echoing from the uppermost part of the tower as an open window, kind of small plumes of pink and purplish smoke seems to be pouring outwards as the airship kind of just bobs beside the top of the tower next to kind of a landing dock.
I give the door a hefty knock.
Hey, McGinty, before we go in here, I feel like you might have misconstrued what I was saying earlier a little bit. If there's one thing being a part of the Little League has taught me, it's that we're more effective working together than we are taking advantage of each other. So my whole let's take the airship thing was about, making sure survivors are all okay. So if you've got some whacked up plan to try to steal this thing for yourself, I'm probably going to have to put you in the ground, buddy.
It's like this Mickey Mouse-esque voice of threatening. It's like McGinty is caught up and he's like... I am so out of breath right now. I wouldn't be able to run. And he kind of looks to the three of you. Any of you or any wizard at large or their airship. And if we're expected to walk up that tower, I think I might rest at the bottom and you can tell me how it goes. And then I'll eventually...
Be safe. If you die, you'll become like your friends.
I have no plans of dying anytime soon. I've managed to stay alive so far, while everyone else around me has been literally losing their heads.
Fair.
Yeah, but you did that, though, right? That's kind of on you.
I mean, I didn't kill my friends. I had friends. Bandits have friends. We have compadres
in their undeath.
I will defend myself if needs be, and I don't like you casting aspersions on my honor.
Exactly. This man may be a liar, a thief, and a brigand, but I'm sure he's a friend to someone.
Look,
Oh, we've been
I'm
rated.
pretty good at knowing who
We've been
people
rated
are.
by
and I'm
the
not.
lore mistress
not heard
is
of
rating with a party of 4. Thank you very much, lore mistress.
Oh, hi, Lord Mistress.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the charity stream. Hello. So you've banged on the door, Solista, as McGinty is kind of trying to catch his breath, and Cortinellis is kind of convincing him not to steal an airship. As you kind of bang on the door, is there anything the group want to do before anything happens here?
I think Rose will
freak out a
step
little.
off of our lovely tall companion and kind of be at the door ready to speak, because as a highborn, I get advantage on any checks to consort with nobles or people of power.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cortinellis, is there anything you want to do?
Cortinellis is going to clutch more tightly onto Solista. He is not having a good time. He's in full existential crisis mode at this point.
Nice. Okay. After the banging on the door, there's silence for a long period of time, and then the crashing and the smashing at the top part of the tower stops. But the smoke still continues to billow, and it goes from a pink to a purple to a blue to a red. And it just keeps to it's not a massive cloud, it's just billow. It's like steaming out slowly but surely. And you hear crashing, and then there's like a couple of doors slamming, and then grumbling. And then after a couple of minutes, you hear stomping, and another closer door opens and closes. And after another minute or two, then you hear on the other side of the main door a cadre of latches and pulleys and as everything starts to get unlocked and swirled. And then the door swings open, and you see this tall, thin, robed individual, completely bald, singed eyebrows, the remnants of where a beard might have been, but it is completely gone, burned off their face, wide-eyed, with black smoke rings around their face, as this kind of bedraggled individual kind of storms and sticks their head out. He's like, "What do you want?"
Be you Jellic Thane, sorcerer at large?
I am.
Wonderful. We are the Little League. We are a group of adventurers who require an astute arcane mind.
Astute? Oh. Well. And as he's talking, you just see that there's like where his hair used to be, whereas they're just steaming and smoking coming off them. I mean, if there's anyone that has an astute arcane mind in this particular realm, it's definitely me.
And I can see it in your bearing and your composure. Quite a noble mind in front of me.
Yes, definitely. That's. Why are you seeking a mind? My mind, the mind.
May we come in?
When he kind of looks behind him. Oh, sure. I haven't cleaned up. It's a bit of a mess. Just your warned.
It's okay. We understand that the ways of
I've
arcane.
got no biscuits.
The ways of the arcane can be messy, and we have sustenance enough for ourselves. Thank you.
Fine. You can sustain yourself. So just watch where you're stepping. And he kind of turns on his heels, and as you come and kind of gestures you into the space. Do you all step in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever Solista does, I guess. Being attached to them.
We're now up at the okay, here we go. We're at 4,465.
Oh, yay.
So we're only 35 euros away from 4,500. This is amazing. Thank you so much to everyone that's donated so far. This is unbelievable.
Promethean, I don't know if you've any more space for it, but Declan has given you a stress.
Holy shit.
Which means, yeah, so I am.
How many stress do you have?
So,
How many stress do you have?
7.
7. Holy shit. Okay. So here's what's going to happen.
They're all marked, which means I'm now taking HP damage.
So, Cortinellis, this is what happens to Cortinellis. As you step across the threshold of this twisted and weird arcane tower, there is a rush of energy into you, and you're gripping onto the kind of the shoulders and the neck of Solista as your senses are assaulted by this wave of necrotic, twisted energy. As the realm of death and life starts to break down, and your mind is flooded, and you're in touch with everything that feeds off death, that then brings life. And now that death is gone from this plane of existence and does not exist anymore, and life can no longer pass over, the realms of what your abilities are start to decay. And you pretty much take, you see now, because the way the damage works in Darker Heart's a wee bit different. So if you take a minor damage on Cortinellis, minor damage is anything from 1 to 11, and then major damage is anything from 11 to 26, and then severe damage is anything from 26 and over. You can then use your armor slots, if you have them, to reduce that damage you take. So it will go from a severe, if you take 26 points of damage, it goes from severe to major, and anything between 11 and 26, you can reduce it from major to minor. But with this particular instance, because you've got so much stress, it is pushing past that. And you actually don't have, you've got 4 armor. Okay, you've got 4 armor. So
no emotional armor though. So
no emotional armor. This is all literally emotional damage on you. Big time, right? As your source of abilities and power, your general domain, the realm where you kind of get your bit from, your power, is starting to break apart, which then starts to suck life from you because it has nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and you'd see like so his kind of pale, ashen, little twisty, wiry body, bits of it will start to brown, and there'll be just little flakes of mushroom people's skin start flaking off.
Wow!
Wait, 4,500!
4,500. We'd hit 4,500 on stream.
Yeah, we can.
Well done.
Thank Emily for that, who's also just said she's donated $35 and said destroy Promethean.
Oh god!
I think Rose seeing, like, if Rose sees our friend in peril, he will donate his stamina potion to Cortinellis, which I believe
I completely forgot we had equipment. My bad.
Yeah. I think I'm also going to do the same. I have a stamina potion as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who's donated. That's unreal. That is fucking unreal. Fair play. This is all going to such an amazing cause.
It's stressful,
so yeah, like, geez. Just to remind everyone what we're actually raising money for, it is for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, or the PCRF. So this is extremely needy charity. Like, it's so well. I'm actually just shocked. Like, amazing. So generous of everyone that's actually taking time to donate. So thank you so much. But back to the game at hand before we all lose our minds, and Cortinellis definitely loses his. The stamina potions in Dagger Heart reduces your stress levels. That's what it does. So if you take it actually states on the stamina how much stress it relieves, isn't it? Is it
1d4?
1d4. So you can roll a d4 there, Cortinellis, and tell me how much stress that relieves. But you've now taken. So with that
2 potions, I think.
Okay, so with that, you've actually taken. You're moving into. So you had 7 stress. You're going to take into minor damage. So you mark 1 HP down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And then, now having been reminded that the stamina potions exist, I will, in fact, down my own and recover a couple of stress.
Nice.
Hopefully preventing my imminent demise.
Use the 2 of ours first, and then yours after. We're good. We don't have much stress right now.
You could roll 2. You could roll 2 d4s and get 8, and that will completely clear you. Like, so, I mean,
you guys are the best. But we should absolutely keep one of these for emergencies.
You hold on to the last one. You might need it again.
Okay. This whole situation seems to be overwhelming you, Cortinellis. So.
Look, it's really messing me up. I'm not gonna lie. This, like, my entire deal, right, is the juxtaposition between life and death and how they feed each other and feed off each other. Whatever this shit is very much not that. It's completely unraveling the entire nature of existence. I cannot tell you. how messed up this is.
Well,
Rose is like,
before you roll again, we've had the lore mistress donate $10 to relieve us stress. So I think Cortnillis can
Nice.
take that too.
Take that.
oh,
The best.
Thank you, Lord Mistress. Emily, this might end up being like a donation off between Lord Mistress and Emily if they're going to be like
it's not
stress.
it's not just Emily, it's also Emily's 2 impersonators.
Wow.
Declan and someone else.
Wow.
Donation
Wow.
PvP. Incredible.
Amazing.
Look, hey, just talking to you two though, it's calmed me right the heck down. So again, I just want to let you know, I love you guys. You're the best.
Oh,
Nice.
that is beautiful. I only too hope to achieve such a beauty in myself.
This really is a lovely moment, but you've arrived up into my. I'm trying to figure out an accent as I go here for this guy.
That's fine.
It's all over the shop. You've arrived up into my tower. So what do you need? And he's kind of moving away from you, kind of patting his head now, trying to get the cindering smoke kind of like off his head as he's moving. You see now he steps into a lobby, and it's just piled high with crap. Like it's full on hoarders situation here.
As we move from room to room, Rose does turn to the group and just says, "I think we might have. It might not be the right person, but we'll see what he does."
Have you ever heard of the name Moribund? Moribund? I can't pronounce it right.
Moribund.
Moribund.
Yeah.
I just say out.
Yes, I've heard of Moribund. It's the deity who controls the passing of death and life and all that type of stuff.
Well, he's given up on the job, or so to speak.
What?
How the way around? No, seriously, we're not just fucking listening. I just dropped so much exposition telling this and how much I love them and how it's affecting me. Come on.
He's a little bit stressed.
Truly, there is not much time left. In like very practical terms and also in narrative terms.
Okay. Well, let me go. Let's move to the top of the tower. I've got my instruments are there, and we can go. Come on. And he's kind of flitting back and forth, but he brings you through kind of this mishmash space, and then there's a staircase that winds kind of around the outsides, or so the outside of the wall, the interior of the wall of the tower, and you can look up and you see kind of offshoots of pillars and platforms that are coming out of it that go off into different sections of his tower. And he kind of points upwards and he starts winding his way around. Behind you, McGinty is kind of just slowly but surely picking his way through all the shit. See if he can find anything, like using the end of his sword to see if there's anything interesting. He's like, and not finding anything. He's just slowly but surely following you behind you as you all make your way to the top of this tower. You can smell the room before you get there. This acrid stench of it smells like burnt candy floss that seems to just waft into it. Like that, when you throw sugar into a fire, if you ever did that when you were camping, it just smells like burnt candy floss, and it's wafting in. It smells lovely, saccharine and sweet, but that's just that burnt smell at the end of it. And he kind of opens out a door and then starts wafting smoke. And it opens all the windows, and the smoke starts to kind of plume out. And your brains are kind of weirded out because the interior architecture of this space doesn't match what you remember from the outside. It's a bit all over the place. It definitely has some kind of arcane energies, as the place is just littered in crystals, chemistry sets. There's tubes and all sorts of things winding along the walls and around. There's a chest over there that's just vibrating continually as there's staffs in it that are just moving back and forth. There's weaponry that's kind of chained to the wall that's kind of jittering. And there's a bookshelf that just seems to be kind of mumbling to itself off on the left-hand side. Jellic kind of moves in and kind of starts pushing some stuff out of the desk, starts taking out books that are kind of piled high and starts opening up large tomes. He said, well, Moribund is an individual that was given deity status from a lesser being to look over the passing of life. Basically a ferryman of sorts, and he seems to have abandoned the post. So he's meant to just basically open up a portal, pass the soul through, and off he goes to the next plane. Clearly he's not doing that anymore. So
No.
I have felt the shift in the energies, and I was actually on a call temporally with a deity at the time, and they were cut off. So clearly that's what happened not too long ago, actually, about a day. But this is bad. It means that if anyone dies, they don't necessarily die. Their body is left, and their soul goes nowhere. So
We've
did you
seen
say-
it firsthand. It is
Ooh.
a grim affair.
And did you? None of you. You're all alive. You're all living. And
We're all fine.
And he kind of knocks on. He kind of walks over him with his kind of fingers, just like dong 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 dong, just tapping on Celesta. You're alive. Yeah, too, Clank.
I never checked.
Well,
I believe
well,
she's...
It's complicated. Don't ask.
yeah, you seem alive. Well, look, really, it's simple. It's a gateway. Clearly, he's just closed the gate, brought the shutter down, pulled the doors over, closed the curtains, not letting anyone through. And the build-up of energy is fracturing the worlds, basically. We need to
How would we-
open the
How would
gate.
we open that? Yeah.
Well,
How does that work?
two things. You could just go and try and pierce the veil and allow the spirits to flow freely, or you could kill Moribund. One or the other. The energy from them being destroyed would be enough to pierce the veil.
What do you think would
How
be
do we-
better? How could we?
Well, I could send you there. It's a simple incantation, transportation spell. Just draw some circles, chant a bit, throw some incense, poof. There
That
you
would
go.
be incredibly useful.
Yeah, you have actually been far more helpful than I expected. That's great.
Well, as
I
you say, we are short on time, narratively.
A noble and
speculatively.
astute mind, we thank you.
I think the four of us, and I put my hand on Jellic, or no, what's the human dude's shoulder.
McGinty.
I think the four of us can handle this situation.
Whoa. I didn't sign up for any kind of teleportation through magical stuff. I just came because I heard he had an airship, and it's a way out of places.
Don't mind him, he's a bit nervous. He's a good fighter when he wants to be, though.
It's your redemption arc, Naughty Wax.
I didn't sign up to no arcs. I mean, I thought it was a ship.
Wow, a redemption arc for you, right? How? I don't even think the beauty herself could write such a tale of heroism.
I am really having a bad day. Oh.
You're having a fucking bad day.
Amazing. Well, I mean, tell me, do you want to make the trip now? Do you need to prepare yourselves for anything?
I think we should at the very least decide whether we're going to pierce the veil or kill a god. Seems like a good decision to make before going in.
It's kind of an interesting point, actually. Moribund is not so much of a god as more of a gatekeeper to the gods. He likes to think of himself as a god.
Well, I guess while he gatekeeps, we can little boss our way over to him. I think we should at least have a conversation with him. Maybe he'll see reason.
We've had a few. They haven't gone really great.
Well, he's waxing poetic, etc. I find that sometimes when people are in a little bit of a position of power, they get a little bit... but we might be able to have a... We might have to kill him.
Well, I mean, either way, I can send you. So let me get started on this. And he kind of starts to kick. He kind of kicks a few pieces on the floor and clearing the space. 4 people need about this amount, and he starts to roughly draw like teleportation symbols on the ground. Right. Oh yes, and he's trying to remember, and he's like jotting them out. Also, wait 1 second. And he kind of rushes over and starts pushing boxes away and finds a chest and opens it out and rumbles through it and takes out a pouch opens the pouch and looks in, and there's a kind of a purple aura that glows out into his face, and like, and there's a bit of a pong, and a bit of steam rises. And he goes, "Yeah, that's still good for one." Right. This is a re-emergence stone. Once you're ready to come back, you take this, you crack it off something, and poof, you're back. You'll come back to the tower, hopefully, if we're still here. And yeah, that'll do it. So, the four of you, including this fellow.
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, stand in the circle.
I grab. I put my hand on Noddy's shoulder again and just lump him into the circle with us.
I mean, do I not even get something? You got a shiny stone. Can I get?
You get to come back with us.
Oh.
And look, you could be a hero out of this. Heroes get very handsomely paid, my friend.
Paid? Oh, well, you didn't say there was going to be paid.
I mean, firstly, you have to do the heroism, and then the payment comes later. Well, it's not really about the payment for me. It's more about the saving and whatnot. But I digress.
Okay.
It's to your own benefit that you come with us now at this stage.
He kind of looks up at Celesta's like glowing ocular sensors. Like, right, okay. Well, I suppose if we're getting paid, who's paying us? Never mind. And he kind of gingerly kind of stands close to Celesta because you have your hand on his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh." The sorcerer steps in and he's like, finishes his incantation. He's like, "Oh," and he then starts to draw these arcane symbols in the air that just seem to glow as he's doing them, like sky writing, air writing. And he just slaps his hands together, Mr. Miyagi style, starts rubbing, and then pulls them apart. And there's a crackling of arcane energy, and you see his face light up from below as his hands twist outwards. And he's kind of pulling these little purple lightning bolts around, and then strikes his hands out, and they collide into the arcane symbols in the ground that start to glow. And there's a rush of air, and you feel like in the center of your chest you're being pulled forward for a second. And if you breathe, the air is pulled out of your lungs, and then and it goes black. And you feel like you're falling. There's a swirling and a rushing of wind. And then the stench of McGinty as he's right next to you as you're all traveling, and that wind is just blowing it up in your face.
Goodness.
And then you feel yourself slowly but surely landing, just deftly, like just gently to the ground. Your feet touch rock. And you're just in this expanse of nothing. As like darkness stretches out before you. The ground beneath you is kind of grayish with little slivers of what looks like gold reaching through it. There seems to be pulses of energy through the gold. They all seem to be leading off in the one direction, off kind of away from where you are. You can barely see off in the distance. I don't think there's such a thing as dark vision in this game. I think they've gone away with it. I think certain races have an ability to be able to see. But I'm just going to say all three of you, particularly with Celesta's kind of ocular sensors lighting, kind of think kind of like in the Iron Giant when the Iron is walking around, its eyes are just beams of light. You have like your beams of light are going about 90 feet ahead of you, and you're kind of looking, and all you can see is like this grayish, rockish ground with these slivers of gold that are pulsing and seem to be leading off. And off in the distance, you can just make out this kind of like pulsating golden. What are the group doing?
So where do you think we have to go?
It seems we're here. We must confront this being.
Jellic Thane seemed to be... Jellic Thane, Sorcerer at Large, seemed to be pretty powerful. We probably should have asked them to join us, but oh well.
That is quite the observation. Actually, yes, you're pretty correct.
At least we got one extra set of hands to help us.
We do.
Yeah.
McGinty's just quietly just like, I think I pissed myself when I landed.
It's okay. The smell masks the smell. Look, I just want to say before we go into this that if I die today, I could not be more honored than to die with the two of you. It's been an honor. Even though if we die today, technically we won't actually die. We'll be stuck between life and death, presumably for eternity. But nonetheless, it's been a privilege. Thank you.
Let's not spiral just yet, Cortinellis.
The feeling is mutual, Cortinellis. The two of you have shown me beauty beyond measure, and shown me that it may yet be possible for me to reach the gardens myself. Let's do this.
As Rose says,
kill a wannabe god.
Cortinellis, I'm assuming, is still on my shoulder. I kind of, as my usual, reach my hand down for Rose to get him up on the other shoulder in preparation for what is about to come. And I give a little toe to our friend Noddy to get him to walk out in front.
Right, are we going this way? I take it towards that thing in the distance.
Yes. Get a move on.
Noddy kind of reluctantly starts to trundle off, and he kind of slowly but surely pulls out his kind of dullish Romanesque style blade. It's got like a stumpy handle with a large kind of base on it, and a kind of a wide blade with a pointed tip, and he kind of moves forward. You definitely can't lose him because the stench is just wafting off him, but he keeps going forward a bit. And you're walking for a bit. You're noticing as you're getting closer, the kind of the pulses in the ground and these gold threads that are on it, they're thrumming and getting a bit stronger. The more you move towards this kind of thrumming glow in the distance, you start to take in more of the kind of the area around you as you see ruins off kind of to your right and to your left, crumbled pillars, old roadways that are disused and fallen into disrepair that kind of go off in different directions, and they seem to be a mishmash of different types and styles and ages from realms around. Like Rose, you see designs and architectural kind of techniques that are very, very familiar from the Crystal Pavilion. Cortinellis, you've seen some of these kind of pillars and rock formations deep within the underworld of this realm, where the network seems to kind of grow. Solicited throughout your entire travels, you've seen multitudes of different types of styles of buildings and ruins and cities, and they all seem to be represented here, not usually together. These seem to be representations of different parts of the world that you're all from the land of Jas. And they all seem to be here now in this, whatever this place is. And you get to a kind of a plateau where a long bridge stretches out over a massive cavern that seems to fall into nothing forever. And this huge rock bridge that is about 100 feet across, like 100 feet widthwise, from this side to this side, and then a good couple of 100 feet across this massive cavern kind of abyss seems to fall into nothing. But on the far side of it, you see, again, pieces of these architecture have been molded together to form perverse versions of the world you're from. You see buildings that are similar to the farmers' dwellings in Miller's Rest. You see the mishmash of what would have been the docklands at Swabby's Dock. There's even a weird version of Jellictane's tower that just seems to be floating, twisting and turning in the air, as if somebody who was not aware of the right way is putting together a Lego kit without the instructions, as this they're trying to build their own world out of the pieces that were given to them. As off kind of, we lost Dahi. We'll be back in a second. You see now kind of where that pulsating glow along a kind of a twisted street that leads through all of these ruins, there is a kind of a mishmash of a mound. And around that mound, you see a collection of standing still figures similar to the ones you've seen before. All kind of standing looking up at the top of this mound, piled high of rubble, dirt, decay, foliage, trees poking out of it, just a mishmash of world pieces, and sitting on a throne on top of it, you see this wispy figure, spindly, elongated and long, twisted arms with long claw-like fingers that kind of grasp these massive kind of balls of rock that sit on the end of this chair. Its tall back, twisted and broken like a hook, and its long spindly head that streaks out on a tall, long neck, wispy hair, massive milky eyes that you all seen across all of these people that are teetering between life and death. These now massive almond-shaped milky eyes, and a kind of a maw of smiling, jagged teeth as it sits atop its throne with these golden ley lines all pulsing upwards and into the chair it sits on as this golden thrum of woo, woo, woo. That is the sight that meets you and greets you. What do you do as a group?
You want to try and talk him down, Rose, or give that a go?
Moribund, why have you forsaken your duties? Why have you closed the veil? Why have you forsaken the beauty of life and death?
So are you moving up towards him? So you're a good bit away. You're a good bit away from him. So do you want to move up?
Yeah, I'm going to be walking towards him and kind of calling this out, I guess. Do you not see the beauty in what you provide to the world and the life cycle? You provide a necessary step.
I'm keeping us close to Rose as well, just to be safe.
Okay. McGinty is very tentatively moving with you, but like he is terrified and seeing all of this death and these like this weird looking mishmash of a world that's been put together by a crazed deity. As you move up, Moribund kind of looks up, you see the head kind of cranes out, and those milky eyes take you in, looks down at you, like, there's a kind of, if you could understand what the face is doing, it kind of looks like a shape of confusion across it. It's like, as if to say, how are you here in this form? But it's gone in an instant as you start to talk. Give me a presence roll to see if you reach Moribund in any way, shape, or form.
I'm going to spend a hope, and I'm going to use my experience. I will protect all beauty, as I'm currently trying to restore the beauty of life and death.
Okay.
Nice.
Do I have anything else that I can do? Sorry, I'm going to try my best to make this roll well. I don't think so. I'm stressed. Okay, that is a 22 with fear.
Okay, you succeed with fear, so I get a fear. You do succeed in a way. Moribund kind of like doesn't move from the chair, but they kind of lean forward. Their long, elongated neck with that head on the end, scraggly hair, as it kind of looks in, and the milky eyes swirls like, you come to my personal domain that I have built with the wonder that I have extracted from these mortals, and tell me of beauty. Look upon the beauty that I have created. You seek beauty, do you? You wish to bring it back to the world.
Always.
And its head kind of twists in a weird angle. You think that my place in it is beautiful?
Well, why wouldn't it be? It's the order of the world. Your place has as much validity and beauty as the place of life itself. You are the person who decides that things live or die is that not in and of itself beautiful? Poetic? People have written stories and tales of life and death, and you are an intricate part of that.
Okay. Give me another presence roll there again.
I'm gonna roll hope. I'm gonna
use
spend
a
another
hope.
hope.
Yeah, spend hope if you have to. Moribund is like, you see it contemplating your words.
Okay, that's better than the last time. That's 14. No, I don't think it's better than last time. Let me think. No, 14. 21 with hope.
So it's with hope. It is better than the last time. So I don't get a fear. And with hope, it means you wholly succeed. So he kind of, do you see Moribund taking stock? And it leans back in the chair. I am intricate part of the realm of life and death. I am important. You say they've written tales of life and death. Do they write tales of me? Am I known in your world of beauty?
Perhaps not as widely as life and death, but you can be, depending on the choices you make now.
In the world I have made, I am known. And I have known all of you. And he looks at the groups, you're looking, it's about 100 individuals all standing still, staring up at Moribund. I have known their lives. I have seen what they have seen. I've experienced them. I have found their secrets and made them mine. I have built this world from their memory.
And this world can remain yours. You can shepherd people through here. The people you affect are with me now, too. Our robotic friend, Celista, has lost so many, and it was you who shepherded them to their rest. Cortinellus here has tended to the bodies of those that you have shepherded. Are we not the right people to speak to you now?
Upon the mention of this, Celista, Moribund kind of his head just looks to you. Yes, I have memory of this. These, and it holds out its hand, and this long clawed hand, the fingers unfurl, and you see floating in its palm globules of light, flashes of images. These, the memories of death you seek. I have them. They are mine. And I can control them and take sustenance from them. Do you wish them? Will you join?
Celista grips her battle axe tightly. And she looks at Rose, she looks at Cortinellus. It's something I've wanted for a long time. But what I want more now is to take care of those around me who are here now. My memories are dead.
Celista, no! Why not? We can absolutely do both.
We don't need to do both, Cortinellus. We don't.
Let me pose a solution to this problem. You give Celista the memories of their life or death. It's not just their death, right? It's a super important thing. Life is the opposite side of death. It's not just the focus on one. I thought that for a long time, and these two taught me otherwise. But if you want to feed on those memories, I'm right here, guy. Come at me. And Cortinellus will approach Moribund, and depending on how when you want this to play out, Cortnellis will try and mycelially networky interface with this would-be god real quick.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
Ego death, a god.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? How do you want to actually take this ability that you have? Because this is one of your things that you can do with Cortnellis can reach out and use them.
And so it's an offer that's been presented, and the core of that offer is that Cortnellis can offer something of a similar nature to these memories that Moribund seems to be coveting at this point.
Okay.
He's not going to force it, but if Moribund accepts it, we'll go from there.
Okay, right. So, what I want you to do here for me here is right. There's two things. You step forward, and you both see this as Cortnellis steps forward through the throng of Moribund's victims as they all stand stock still statues, and he is still feeding off their memories as these energies pulse into him as he sits in his throne. And Cortnellis steps forward, and as he says, I offer you the network, and I will network with you. You see Cortnellis put their hands out, and you see kind of tendrils kind of emanate from him as kind of the cordyceps seem to expand and build, and he kind of stretches out like nerve endings. Because you've all seen, seen that image of a human nerve ending end to end removed from a body. You see those tendrils of nerve endings as they stretch out, and it becomes like a kind of a collection of these cables that stretch out towards Moribund, who puts out a clawed hand. Cortnellis, I need you to make two things. I need you to make an instinct roll, and I need you to make a presence roll, please. And I will, as the GM, give you a hope to choose which one you use on it. You can use the hope for either the instinct, or you can use the hope for the presence.
100% instinct.
Okay.
Absolutely instinct. All right.
Is there a way that we can assist with this at all?
Well, what do you have? So let's look at our experiences here. Let's look at the mechanics within Daggerheart. You each have your experiences that you can use here. So use your experiences in a way, the phrases that are your experiences, that you can talk to me and say, I want to use this experience, and give me a reason why that is valid in this moment.
Okay. I think our lovely frog friend would like to use, once again, would like to use the I will protect all beauty experience to try and assist our Cortnellis friend, who is trying to do just that, trying to put things back into the natural order, which is in and of itself beautiful, to our froggy friend.
And I think for Celista, she's going to use her experience in this is not a negotiation, just to kind of help with Cortnellis's presence and what Cortnellis is saying right now to Moribund.
Nice.
And so both of those would be a +2?
My not a negotiation is +3.
Ooh. And my I will protect all beauty is a +3 as well. But if it's possible, can I put that on the presence roll, as in that's like the conversational part of it? I think as well, Rose, also as you're like approaching, Rose puts his hand on you and just says, your bravery is unbounded, and I'm going to give us both 3 hope points with an ability that I have.
Just as a kind of a remembrance here on the lore for the 3 of you, as I said earlier on in the game, you have spent the last year traveling together, and you have imbued yourselves with Cortnellis' spores, so you are also connected partially with the network. So as Cortnellis initiates this moment, and you push out with your abilities, and you push out with your experiences, and Cortnellis does what he has to do, you feel it. That moment where you see him become what he's becoming, and the offering he gives to Moribund, and Moribund's intrigue as he stretches out a clawed hand, as the energy pulses around him. Cortnellis, what did you get in your rolls?
So, in addition to the rolls and the friendly little buffs there, my own experiences will include the better together that we've just referenced there that kind of bind the little group together, but we'll also sync that into the process of this. It's about the connection between the tiny little flecks of insignificant that make up each and every one of us in existence are all technically part of the same thing. The other experience I've seen through time, referring to a moment where Cordy had an experience of exactly that. Saw everything that could be, everything that was, all at the same time, all within an absolute instant, and shares that with Moribund, and the sheer possibility, endless, ever expansive possibility that goes far beyond, you know, such little things as wanting to clutch power. Ego death, absolutely just dropping that sense of self and the need for anything solely and wholly for oneself, and cosmic enlightenment. All four of those experiences come together to throw an extra +8 into it. I'll also use, courtesy of those 3 hope points, thank you very much, a prayer die to add another 2 to that, and all of that will be tacked onto the 17 I rolled with hope on top.
Okay.
So that's like 20 something with hope.
That's high. Is that, did you get that 17 with hope? Or was
that's 7. Yeah, so rolled 17 with hope.
And is that your instinct or your presence roll?
That's instinct.
Instinct. Your presence roll, what did you get?
Not as great.
You have a +3 on it, at least.
Yeah, you have, well, a +6 because I gave a +3
Okay.
to the presence as
Yes.
well.
Excellent. Okay, so that's 15 with fear on top, +3, so 18.
6 in total. So
and the other 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
So the instinct roll was with hope, and the presence roll was with fear.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so spooky.
Okay. Now, this is what's happening. Okay. Celeste and Rose, you feel this. McGinty is shitting himself. He has no clue what's happening. He's behind all of this, is all this weird, wacky stuff, as this common day bandit sees all of this unfold in front of him. As the trio of the Little League step forward and offer this semi-deity god that chooses the moment of life and death, gets a glimpse into the universe. As Cortinella steps forward, the cordyceps expand. They wrap themselves tentatively around the clawed hand as it outstretches, and then they embed themselves in its pallid, grey, mottled skin, and there's a pulse of energy. Cortinellis, you feel this mind, this ever-seeing mind that is trying to understand why it can't experience life like everything else does. And it gets pulled into your world, into your mind. It sees your experiences. It sees your life. It sees the life and the death you've imbued across the land as you've traveled. It sees the mycelial network that stretches out, that is connected to the very world in the land of Jas. And there is a pulse, a boom. Celesta and Rose, you feel it on the level that you're at, even though you're not connected directly. You feel it as the meeting of minds challenge and push against each other. I'm going to pump a fear into a couple of rolls because I have them. We're going to do some contested rolls, Cortinellis. Okay.
Was the 17 before modifiers on your...
The 17 was before
instinct?
Modifiers.
So it was the +8 from your regular. So it would be 25 on the first one, just so we know. And that was one with hope.
Okay. So your instinct was such a high roll with hope that the initial connection is all you. You push yourself, not forcefully, but your connection, which you offered and which was taken by Moribund. And you imbue it with your life and your death and your understanding of what that it means and what must happen. And there's a moment where it falters. And you all see as Moribund stumbles and falls to one knee at the throne as the energy pulses through it seems to slow. And you watch as the crowds that are there, the ones at the back, the individuals at the back, they just start to fade into dust. They just start to fade away. As Cortinellus pushes the understanding of what should be into Moribund. There is a moment where you start to see, Cortinellus, you start to see flashes of lives, individuals, moments of joy, heartbreak, happiness, death, life, rebirth. There's just this multitude of imagery that's flashing across you. You watch as Cortinellus' body is twitching. Growths are pushing out. You see kind of large kind of mycelial growths, fungus, cordyceps, all different shapes and sizes, colors, all push out from his form as it twists. And you see the form of Moribund twist and shake as well, as all of these energies push against each other. I need you to make one more roll, Cortinellus, and I will allow you to choose between knowledge and instinct.
I think it's going to be instinct. I think Cortinellus just feels that this is the right play.
Okay. So I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to roll, and I'm going to pump a fear into it, which will give me an advantage on it. That's just a choice I'm making. Okay, and I'm going to do a... Let me see now. I need to get more about the stat sheet up here. Here we go. Okay. Okay. What did you get?
Just a sec. Okay, so I only rolled, was that 13, but I'm going to use Reassurance, an ability that allows me to re-roll the dice and see if we can top that.
What did you roll that with stress or with fear?
That is 18 and it's a critical success.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. And I heard the kind of the anger of that roll, the clank, 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 clank. Cortinellus, just as Moribund starts to push in and you feel that doubt, you feel that urge to want to feed and take the experiences of other and damn the natural course of life, damn it all. Your sense of what should be and the natural order of things and the rebirth of life, the rebirth of death, constant cycle that has to happen, has to be natural. It pushes through. You feel the connection between Callista and Rose, your companions for the last year, as their minds push into you and your spores puff. You both watch as Cortinellus grows a good 4 feet in height, as his mushroom fungal form is enlarged and the form of Moribund staggers and falls to both knees as you push the cordyceps in and you start to see growths push up on Moribund's shape and form. Spore, it opens its mouth. It exhales spores. Its milky eyes turn kind of a cloudy green and it starts to cry tears of acrid blackness as it falls down its face. You push it down as the form starts to decay and wither in front of you. With that critical success, you just overwhelm it as its understanding of what should be evaporates in front of you and it loses all grip and bursts of light as every kind of little fungus that forms on its body. There's a puff of light that streaks off into the air and collides into one of the forms of the still humanoid shapes that stand at the bottom of its pile of dirt. And they just dissipate and fall apart. And Cortinellus, you start to feel it. You feel them cross over. You feel them move on. You feel the peace and the essence of calmness as they're allowed to leave. As the form of Moribund crumbles and decays in front of you. And it just forms into a pile of multicolored fungus. And it joins the mycelial network that you feel it grow. And the ruins of mishmash worlds that have been pushed together start to crumbling. Large rocks formations crumbling apart, falling. And then the ground starts to shake. And this world starts to... McGinty's like, fuck this! And just runs. And McGinty's gone off into the darkness. You don't know where he's run to. He just vanishes. What are the group doing at this point? You see this now large... Corton Ellis has now grown to a full 6 feet tall. New blooms of color enrapture your body. Your cap has become a kind of a rainbow of pulsating light. As you stand there, your essence feels the entire network as the world starts to reawaken and people start to pass over into the next plane of existence. You feel it all.
I think Solista just in the terror of everything shaking grabs Rose in one arm and then goes to grab Corton Ellis, and then realizing how big Corton Ellis is now is like, wait, hang on. This doesn't seem right.
And Mega Corton Ellis will look at the dust that was moribund and just be like, "Yeah, fuck that guy." Little League, I will hold this place together while you escape. With moribund gone, someone needs to stay to ferry people through to their ultimate end. I'll give you what time I can. Just keep being you, Booze. You're really good at it. Give Nutty Wax a bath, and I'm sure it'll be a perfectly good replacement for me.
I think, firstly, Dahi is crying. I think Rose immediately, like, just being picked up by Solista, like, puts his hand on Corton Ellis and just says, I don't even know what he says. I'm so, like, I'm having a moment. I think he puts his hand on his shoulder and just says, every action you have made has been with the utmost of beauty. I will remember you so fondly, my dear friend. And just sits into Solista's shoulder.
Solista, for the first time, gives, like, she's hugged her friends before, but this is the first time she's been able to give Corton Ellis a big, proper hug. And you can see that around her amber eyes have gone slightly damp, but it's nothing she's ever experienced before. It's just like quite clear oil starts dripping out of her eyes, and she grips Rose.
Okay, I'm going to do something here as the GM. And I just rolled, can't believe this happened. I rolled a critical success, so which means with hope. As Solista hugs Corton Ellis, there is a flash, and the memories that were promised to you by Moribund are returned to you by Corton Ellis. As you remember every member of your crew and their passing. As your life begins to fall back into place in shapes. I got 2 12s. I rolled 2 fucking 12s.
Wow.
What?
I rolled 2 fucking 12s. I need to take a picture of that.
That's the power of love, folks.
Seeing the light that, like, kind of flashes around us, Rose just it is in a sense, in a way of saying like until we die, as in like we'll see you then, just says, until we see your light once more, my friend. And cries.
I don't know what a mushroom crying looks like. I assume it's like some kind of sweat, but that's absolutely it happens. Yeah.
Frog tears are
as you're having your goodbyes, the world that was falling apart, this mishmash world of make-believe that Moribund had put together with their own belief that this is what the world should look like, crumbles away. But when you go to leave, clumps of glowing fungus start to appear as a brand new network starts to grow in this land and reaches out and guides you back to the place that you first arrived in. As these like gigantic, huge, open-capped mushrooms with luminescence just lights it up as the crossing, the place of crossing, becomes something that it wasn't before. It seems to be a place of light, an interconnectivity, an understanding, as the Lord Cortinellus takes his throne as the deity of crossing, replacing the corrupt god Moribund. And Callista and Rose, if you will permit me, I'll finish it off because we are running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
You return to the section, the place where you transported in, and you crack the crystal once more. Just the two of you returning for now. McGinty, nobody knows where he's gone. He's somewhere running through the crossing, surrounded by mushrooms, stinking up to high heaven. And you materialize with a poof back in the tower of Jellic Thane, who appears in front of you, standing up from behind a desk with a large tome. Funnily enough, he now has a full head of hair, perfectly coiffed, a beautiful trimmed and waxed mustache, and a clean robe. He's like, "Well, you're back. Oh, well, interesting. And you succeeded. You're down a couple of people, but you're here."
I'm patting Rose's back because I know Rose is probably deeply upset right now.
Oh,
We're back. We made it.
That's quite impressive. I didn't expect you to return at all. I'd put up defenses and everything on the place. I was about to jump into the flying in my ship and fuck off, but you're here. Tell me, you're accomplished individuals. Would you be interested in some work? And that's where we're going to end the episode. Thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in. Thank you to my players. You are fantastic. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
All down to you. Amazing. That was unbelievable. This is what Daggerheart does. It puts the agency with the players and allows them to tell the story. This is the whole point of this system. So yes,
no, like 100%. Even from our character creation, we had so much input, and Wayne had it was such a great time having Wayne connect the dots for us as well. Like it was so good.
The system,
play this game.
Play Daggerheart. Daggerheart has it's an amazing system. It's specifically built so everyone is involved in this world. Everyone gets to build it from the bottom up. It's brilliant.
And if you're a crier, be prepared.
I'm so sorry. Do you want some more? Because here's the epilogue. Many years later, Rose will find a little trail of mushrooms leading them to the Garden of Beauty that they've been searching for, and will lead them directly there. Because they deserve to be there, because they're beautiful.
There you go.
I think Rose would, at later levels, definitely multi-class into Seraph and would take Cortinellus as his deity, just so he could speak to his friend again. But he would also write stories about Moribund, like he promised he would, and immortalize him still in history.
I think the only thing Callista would do in the future was that instead of her old sailor's jacket, which she's, because of getting back her memories, has made peace with, she's now wearing a brand new jacket inspired by Cortinellus's colours with LL on the back for Little League.
Nice. I love it.
Yes.
Folks, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much to the players. Just to remind everyone where you can find us. Obviously, I'm Wayne on the GM. You can find me over at Sorcery Shenanigans on YouTube or on anywhere you see Spotify or podcasts or anything like that. We're not on Twitch, unfortunately, because I can't figure it out. But you'll find us over on YouTube. You'll find us on Spotify and anywhere you find your podcasts. We do the Irish Pubcast and Sorcery Shenanigans, which is our Dungeons and Dragons stream. And we also have Ben from Homebrew, who's also one of the Dungeon Masters on this as well over the weekend. So he's joined us at the moment as well. So that's myself. Folks, where can we find you online? Remind us again, please. We'll start with Cortinellus, Promethean. Where do we find you?
Hey, hi, Promethean. There's a 0 in it. Put that into the internet, and you'll generally find me instead of the movie with a similar name. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitch with Meeples and Dragons, It's Fate's Grip, and The Law Rights at a whole bunch of different times.
Nice. Lou, where will we find you?
So you usually find me on our podcast from D8 Dungeon Romance in the Dungeon, but then every now and then, like tonight, I do pop in for an odd stream and everything, especially when it has to do for charity. And just as a member of D8, I want to quickly shout out and thank every single player and DM who has given up their time to help raise money for charity. I know the thanks will be given out again, but I think everyone who's getting involved this weekend, thank you so much in any big or little way that you have. Thank you.
100%. Dahi, where will we find you?
You mostly find me being silly on Twitter at the @ that I just put in chat. Also, you'll find me here on D8 Dungeon every fighting chance I can get to bother Declan into getting into a streamed game. I'm probably there. You can see me again tomorrow, actually, here again at 6:30. I'll be playing a Thirsty Sword Lesbians game that promises to be exceptionally gay and exceptionally fun.
Nice.
And in the same vein as Lou, I would just like to say an extra thank you to Declan and Amber specifically, who have been putting in stupid amounts of work, like last year, like the year before. So thanks, guys, for putting this, like helping, being a big part of putting this together.
Fair play. I also want to say thanks to Emma, who looked after us on this stream tonight.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you,
fantastic
Emma.
stuff.
For
Thank you,
staying
Emma.
up.
Trojan work. We couldn't have done it without you because I have no fucking clue what's going on. So just also remind everyone, you can continue to donate. There's more games tomorrow, kicking off tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon on Sunday, 12 midday. We have, if I'm reading this right, Most Wanted, a D&D game. There's also a load of prizes on there. You can enter in the raffle into the chat. So please enter into the raffle, donate what you can. It's all for a great cause. Thank you so much, everyone, to tune in. I think that's all I have for my audience. Yeah. So look, folks, thank you so much. Thank you, my players. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Look after yourselves. Take care. We'll see you soon.